My name is Joe Biden, and I love ice cream. What President Trump has done in going his spreading of racism, the way he deals with color of their skin, their national origin, where they're from, is absolutely sickening. No sitting president has ever done this. Never, never, never. No Republican president has done this. No Democratic president. We've had racists, and they've existed, they've tried to get elected president. He's the first one that has. And the way he pits people against one another is all designed to divide the country, divide people, not put them together.
If Haiti, a god-awful thing to say, if Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
Lobbyists aren't bad people. Special interest groups are not bad people. But guess what? They're corrosive. People who accept money from them aren't bad people. But it's human nature. You go out, Lynn, and bundle $250,000 for me, all legal, and then you call me after I'm elected and say, Joe, I'd like to come and talk to you about something. You didn't buy me, but it's human nature. You help me. I'm going to say, sure, Lynn, come on in.
Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you. This election year, the choice is clear. One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America. That saves billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of I think it's $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-point-something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air. I love kids jumping on my lap. The fact is that what happens now is that we in fact have to fundamentally change the culture of how women are treated. No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger other than in self-defense, and that's rarely ever occurs. And so we have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it.
Does nothing to tackle the #1 job facing the middle class, and it happens to be, as Barack says, a 3-letter word: jobs. Jobs. The younger generation now tells me how tough things are. Give me a break. We can speak out and be more straightforward. I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom. Hillary Clinton is as qualified or more qualified than I am to be Vice President of the United States of America. Let's get that straight. And quite frankly, it might have been a better pick than me.
I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talked about it. But what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son.
Eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth, $1.4 trillion. Out of $1.4 aren't even saying it so much.
I think I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect, and I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true.
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
And by the way, it costs a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night.
Will you ever run for political office again?
No.
Hello. I'm back. Regularly scheduled time. How are you all doing? I can't remember the last time I streamed. I'm sorry. KJ Barney. Our KJR Barry. Sorry. Thank you for the sorry for calling you Barney. Cloudy, thank you. Jenny, thank you. I believe that's it. Yes, we're back. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I was originally not going to stream today because I think I'm sick. I don't know. I have like a post music festival illness, nebulous post music festival illness still. It's been like a week. Yeah. When was the last time I streamed? It's been a while. Surely, like basically nothing has happened. Basically nothing has happened. What happened in Vegas stays in your bloodstream for 30 days. That's true. People may be mad because they claim I didn't stream last Sunday, but I got a message. Wait, let me find it because I had checked my message request. I don't know why I did. I was at EDC. Someone messages me on Twitter, hello, I'm a random person on the internet, and this is a random question. Were you at Aeon mode at the end of day 3 of EDC? And then they send me this. So, if you're mad that I wasn't streaming, I actually was. You just didn't know the place to go to find it. That's the problem. Yeah, it was very fun. I had a good time. I went to Las Vegas, which I had never been before. It's a deeply evil place. It's a deeply evil place. The camera loves me. Yeah, I've never been to a place. I can't remember. Someone described it. I heard it's like it's a place that's pretending to be a place. Like it's not in itself a place. It's a place that wants to be a place. Sometimes that place, like with the Venetian, is like it's pretending to be Venice, and you go into a very labyrinthine building that you don't know how to get around in, and it makes it appear as if, I think I posted a photo of it. It makes it look like it's outside. It's so demonic. It's so deeply disturbing. And it's got, this is indoors. This is like, it has a skybox. And it's weird too, because like, the air feels like it's outside. Like, I don't know what they do about the air, but you step into this like big area and it feels like it's outside. And the reason for that, of course, is like gambling. I'm happy that I went to Vegas and I did not spend a single dollar. Hold on. I did not spend a single dollar on any gambling related thing, because it's the devil. Because it's deeply satanic and demonic. That's the whole point of doing that for years. Yeah, I mean, the purpose of it is to make you feel like you don't know what time it is. Poker is cool. It kind of scared me. I would have done poker. My friend did poker and I didn't. Did I stare into the orb? Or what is it called? I was at the Westin on the Strip. You know what's actually, I'm such a fucking nerd. It's so lame. The thing that I thought was cool about being in Vegas and being on the Strip in particular was I was like, this is a fucking New Vegas reference. Like I wonder where I am in the New Vegas map. Because it's not a 1-to-1, it's like a 1-to-30 or whatever. But the Strip is like, you go on the Strip. I couldn't find it exactly, but that was cool. That's the only bit of Vegas. I happen to live in Vegas. That was another thing that I observed about Vegas is like, why would you stay here? Like I assume that the answer is like, I have a job here, and maybe I'm unfortunate to have been weighed down in a way where you own property, and it's like this is where you are. But like, why would you? Surely no one chooses to live there, right? Like, there's something. I guess it's just cheap. Yeah, I guess it's cheap. I guess that's why it's cheaper. Yeah, I guess that maybe is the thing about Vegas is either you're like, there's something deeply wrong with you, or it's like, what are you gonna do? You live there. It's unfortunate. You prefer not to live there. Yes, Vegas has been dying. That's something I noticed as well, is like, not only like it's like two dimensions of a place trying to be a place. Like Las Vegas to me felt like, and this is the only time I've been in Vegas, so I can't confirm this. It felt like it was trying to be Las Vegas. Like everywhere I turned, it's like, hey, remember Las Vegas? Well, this is the place that it is. And it's like, to a certain extent, it felt like it was not true. I'm like, I don't believe you. Like there is some Las Vegas out there that you're talking about, but it's not here. Like you're pretending to be, yeah. So it does try to sell itself. Las Vegas feels like, you know in the one of, apparently, according to my girlfriend, like 4 SpongeBob movies, where there's that like, is it an anglerfish that like lures in other fish with like a light or whatever, the human anglerfish or whatever that pretends to be a theme park in SpongeBob, and then they go in and they almost get eaten. Is it only the female anglerfish do? That's interesting. It felt like that. It felt like one of those, but for human beings. One of those, but for like the worst person ever. You know what I mean? Like the worst human being you know. Like, how do we lure that guy? There's a community in the downtown area dispersed throughout our awful suburbs. That's interesting. I am gay! Overkill, thank you. Is Vegas dying make it less bad to live there, or bad? Because it's... You would almost think, like, well, they're, like, I mean, I guess the local economy does just die if you don't... It's kind of a toss-up. That makes sense. I guess higher prices. Yeah, but it's such a fascinating... It's such a deeply, like... And, yeah, going in the airport, like, it was really not that populated. One of the other things that I always enjoy deeply... Now I find it... I used to be scared of it, but I am, like, a white woman, so there's probably no reason for me to be scared, is going through customs at the Vancouver airport. Because if you don't know how it works, like, there's, like, pre-screening or, like, pre-clearance, one of those two, I think, at big Canadian airports, like, I know Toronto, and I know the one in Montreal, or in Vancouver, where, like, you go through the border, you get to the DEA, you know, the checkpoint, who's like, why are you here? Give me your passport, in the Vancouver airport, and then, like, when you land as a domestic flight. Which is great, because, like, they can't be evil to you. Like, all of the horror stories, which I know, like, there's a dimension of those horror stories where it's like, look, we know that they do this to minorities. They know they do this to people who have, like, a passport from the Middle East, you know, etc. But, like, they're doing it to, like, white women now. Isn't that so terrible? Like, there's a dimension of that it's, like, the American customs border has always been, like, brutal to people. But those horror stories, nevertheless, like, apply in situations where, like, you're either flying in and you're in America and then you go through customs, or you're driving across the border. And so they can't be evil to you when you go through the Vancouver airport. And so it kind of just makes it funny. Like I personally believe at this point, and I know that it would be, like, a lot of money lost if I was not able to go on a vacation that I paid for. At this point, I would find it very funny if I was not allowed to enter the America because I had, like, a photo of JD Vance fucking a couch on my phone. Like, it's gotten to a point where I do think that would be very funny. But one reason I take pleasure in crossing the border is how short the line was. And when I say short, like, calling the line short is like calling a cis woman's, like, penis small, in the sense that it wasn't short. There was literally no line, which I know is an insane way to refer to that. There was literally no line. You went across, there was, you know how it's, like, set up for, like, a lot of people, it's, like, divided. You walk across there's literally no one there, and then you hit to the main point, and there's, like, crazy analogy. There's, like, 5 or 6 of the border guards who are doing nothing, literally doing nothing, and then one of them is like, okay, come forward. In Vancouver, like, no one in Vancouver is coming to America, and there used to be, like, I feel like I was like, it took me maybe 10 minutes to get through international customs, which I think is beautiful. I know that I'm, like, not doing my part, and the serious answer to that is that, like, the type of, like, Canadian bourgeois nationalism where it's like, you should support, like, local resource extraction companies and not those evil American ones, is, like, fucking stupid. It's stupid, and that's, you know, but it is nice to see, though, that people are genuinely, that people's response to that has been, like, very totally to completely not travel to America. Because yeah, the border guards have been especially nice. I wonder the extent to which I think that like I wonder the extent to which the border guards in Vancouver are like, we are trying to be nicer. I don't know if this is the case. I don't know if this isn't the case and I'm just a white woman. That's probably the real answer. Although they were being mean. They started, the controversy was that they started being mean to Canadian white women. And then of course Canadians are like, you don't touch our white women. Those are our, you know, it's like a weird sort of type of national, you know, you touch the percent of our population that have like, you know, Middle Eastern passports. Canadians have never cared about that. There's never been stories about that. They don't give a shit. That's business as usual. But if you touch our white woman, if you're mean to our white woman, no one is going to travel to your country anymore. Only we can be mean to our white woman. That is like, if you could summarize like far right nativist politics in any white country, in any European or like white supremacist country, into one sentence, it is only we can be mean to our white woman. That's it. That's really it. And then when they do like Orientalism, like Middle East, it's like only we can be mean to your Muslim women. It's a very popular. It's a very, not just a way of summarizing the politics, but of like the libidinal energy of a lot of nativist politics. Is the white women are there for us to be mean to, you're not allowed to do that. But anyway, so yeah, going to like I think I probably might go to EDC again. I think it was like by far, as you can see from that video. I don't know, is that embarrassing? I think it's funny. I'll play it again. I think it's very funny. As you can see, that's so funny. I was having a great time. It was great. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So I might honestly go again. I need to emote that. You're right. You do look like you're on fictional drugs. I like the concept of being on a drug that doesn't exist. Honestly, you know what's a hot take for me about music festivals? Where I left everyone serves on the international enemies list. I don't think so. I know that my dad had problems about that. But I think that was like when because he's got Yugoslav or RIP Serbian citizenship. I believe there was a bunch of issues especially when it was still a communist country. But I mean, I was born in 98. So maybe it could have been early on. That could have been the case, but I've never experienced any problems with it. I may go back to Vegas purely for EDC, and then like genuinely stay in my hotel room, except to leave for EDC. The West Streeting stuff. I also hope your viewers are going. No, what happened? Okay, that's another thing that all of the things. So Streeting has pitched. Okay, this is another thing that I have not been online for, and I haven't paid attention to in the last couple days. The last time I was paying attention to what's going on in Britain with Labour was that it seemed like Streeting was not going to try to make a pitch to be the new prime minister, because it's like someone I heard the analogy that going from Starmer to Streeting is like shitting your pants and then changing your shirt, which is like a sentence that is so like British that it's hard to say without a British accent. Like it's such a but I have, because God, I think I don't know if I'm sick or like I'm on antibiotics for my acid reflux. The Man of Tempered Glass. This is a 37-minute long video. Bad Banana got into a fight with FD. I'm sure he did. He got into a fight with FD Signifier about slurs. I do like whenever I go live that I get an update on who else Bad and Panada has gotten into a fight with. God, it is hot in Vancouver. He called FD Signifier a goy slave. Still waiting for President Xi's response. That's okay. If Bad Banana fought with President Xi, I would support him. You thought West Reading was a place? It's kind of a miracle that it isn't. Like, that's... My understanding is West Reading, but presumably has named himself after a place. Named himself after the place that the first, King of England was crowned or something. Good stare, thank you. Do we have a Reacts playlist?
Mamdani, known as the social media mayor, and now he is launching a live stream series on Twitch, answering questions from New Yorkers in real time. It's called Talk with the People, and it will be shared on several social media platforms.
I mean, that's smart. My real critique, he should do it. He should do it on YouTube instead of Twitch because it's kind of a dying platform.
These conversations wherever you listen to podcasts, on your commute, washing dishes.
Did he not have mods on the stream? That's
pretending to answer emails.
Mamdani makes a Discord server and has to deal with a controversy from hiring a mod that gets a power trip.
Because government should be accessible. You should hear directly from your city about what we're doing.
Sometimes I'll see the controversy. I remember that happened with like Pokimane at some point, where it was like one of her Discord mods was being transphobic, and people were like, it was so fucked up that Pokimane. And it's like, she has nothing to do with that. That is like, especially a streamer of that size. Oh yeah, that is, someone did put a penis in the chat. Yeah, I mean. I mean, that is another thing. I feel like, doesn't Bernie Sanders technically like stream his speeches on Twitch and they get like 50 viewers? Oh yeah, the thing about the term goy slave being funny, the problem is like a lot of those jokes, as someone who is obviously very edgy, it's like, yes, I get it, it's funny. But like, if you're actually gonna do politics and someone is like, hey, this word is bad, they're correct. That's correct. Also, based on context, like the context he's using it, if that's true, I mean, obviously there's that is not, in the abstract as the term, it can be funny, but particularly in that context is really not. Stable guy, thank you. We shouldn't use the word. Yeah, I mean, I will say showing a leftist like a time capsule of the terms that are used now compared to like maybe 7 years ago would make like, I mean, I guess it would make sense in the context of the like cultural movement, cultural shift against Israel. But yeah, I would make you go and saying that like it's not 4chan that won. It's like lefty poll. It's like 8chan. Because as far as I'm aware, that specific subculture, it's like total lefty poll victory, basically. It's like that type of like weird antisocial, like, 8chan kind of. You know what? Speaking of, made me think of that is this is like the most online thing of all time for me to explain to you, to the people who are unaware. But for some reason, whenever I check Twitter, which is like not that much recently, my algorithm knows that I do want to see this. And it's like this strange feud with the communism out of context thing, and that like Amadeus Bolshevik guy, who I thought was doing a bit. I don't. This is. That guy makes me sad. Because I thought he was doing a bit. It's the guy who would make those posts where it's like need like a bourgeois woman to call me her little commie, and would make really weird aesthetics. Like she would post a Sabrina Carpenter photo and then have like a hammer and sickle behind it, and then like a lyric to a like. I didn't realize that like this type of weirdo still existed on like communist Twitter. I feel like, yes, he pretended to have a girlfriend who was like a Maoist, and then would post photos of her, and then like they found the actual woman who posted it and was like, oh, that's not, I don't know that person. Why did I bring this up? What is interesting about I don't know, there's something interesting going on Twitter. It does seem like the culture has shifted in a way on the internet and then in left-wing spaces that like you would think that would be the last space possible that like 4chan lingo would like colonize. And maybe in a sense it is kind of the last space that it has colonized outside of like Blue Sky. But virtually everyone is now posting like a chud. The fact that like the unironic usage of like goy slave has made its way out of the weird 4chan leftist spaces like Lefty Poll, and is now just like fairly ubiquitous. It's probably bad. Post like a chud, think like a woke. The problem is people are posting like chuds and also thinking like chuds, I think. Oh yeah, but sorry. They changed the popular usage of the word chud. You know what's so... Isn't chud... Was chud... Like, chud as it is manifested now comes from Will Menaker, right? It's like Chapo, right? Like, that is... Because it's, like, such a ubiquitous term now. Like, it was definitely... I remember they were using it in, like, 2016 to refer to, like, a right-wing guy. Well, it's technically from the movie Chud, 1984, but, like, the usage of Chud as, like, a right-wing, which is, like, you know, on the domino of how it's used now. The first one was the notion of a Chud being a right-wing guy.
I am
Wildegoose,
gay.
thank you. Yes, Chud, but the quote-unquote normie usage of Chud is, like, dumb guy, right? Yeah. Because it just became, like, I fuck my Chud life. I'm such a fat fucking Chud. Kids call everyone Chud now. See, that's so funny. It is weird. I hate my Chud son. Yeah. It means neat, which is, like, kind of close. It's like loser, yeah. Yes, like maybe that's a better explanation for it. It is weird how much... I'm trying to think of... Is that like the biggest Chapo cultural export? I feel like it doesn't get bigger than that. Chud has evolved 2 times independently. Never thought I would become a Chud. Yeah. Maybe there's a possibility that Chud came from like weird Twitter / like what's the low tax form? Something awful. And then into Chapo but I think Chapo was like an essential point link in that chain at the very least. Yeah, I don't know, like, I feel like there's always that meme that people post about, like, that like 4chan got Trump elected. Yeah, it came from Something Awful, which I should reread that book. I can't remember the degree of that claim, because I think I remember from reading it came from Something Awful that it wasn't like, some people are literally like, oh yeah, 4chan, like Gamergate got Trump elected, like in a causal way, not in a way of like there was a cultural language that was going to be created for whatever was going to happen here, and it just so happened that this particular like 4chan sort of terminology was in the right place at the right time to be more widely adopted. But some people are literally like, no, without it, it wouldn't have happened. Which I think, as far as I'm aware, came from Something Awful makes more of the former argument, because it's a much easier argument to make, because the latter's, kind of silly. Yeah, I mean, the latter's certainly not true, but it's hard not to feel like, I mean, especially, with QAnon, 4chan really is like world historically significant. Yeah, but it's hard not to feel with how continually influential 4chan even is into the 2020s, because like Goy Block is like is that like a 2023 4chan invention? And that's where like Goy as like a prefix kind of comes from, is it not? Or Goy Slop? You think Goy Slop has been for an entire decade? Maybe 2019. This one is Goy Slop is added and then Know Your Meme was like the last to understand a thing, but it says it was added. Oh no, 2016. Okay, no, you're right. I thought Goy started with online Jewish community. Well, Goy is, not a. But no, I guess it is 2016. But it spread in 2022, according to Know Your Meme, which is the least sourced. It does feel weird. I don't know. I can't help but feel like it does relate to the increasing conspiracism on the internet, where everything feels like it's QAnon now as well. That also everyone is using 4chan terminology, which like I think that it's important to not do the thing of like I see this often with like some like conspiracy theory scholars or whatever, is that they treat conspiracies and as these like really extreme cognito hazards that like they themselves are the thing that's causing all the evil stuff. And if we just like, it's like they treat it like it's COVID, like if we just contained it, it would go away, which is like not, I don't think is fair. I think it's easy to be scared of the words and how the words are used, because it's like it is the cultural language of a social political movement, of a political change. So it's very easy to identify it, especially if like the way that most people interface with politics is through like the internet, where like that's all that you interface with is words, or that's primarily what you interface with in this respect. Oh yes, Goy is being auto-modded. Yes, of course, Goy is Yiddish. Is it Yiddish? Oh yeah, I thought it was Hebrew. I guess it is. But it's just a Jewish term for a non-Jewish person. My favorite is when people don't know how to pluralize it. I saw someone use goyim,s, like all of the goyim,s, which I think is awesome. I think it's very funny. Yes, I remember that was like a discourse on the internet at some point, was like leftists started using Zog, Zionist occupied government, and it was like, oh well, objectively it's an occupied government. It's like, why is this, what is the point of this? I don't, yeah, it's just, that is a troubling development for me. And it's like, is like, yeah, I don't even know. Like, the problem is like, when is the right time to articulate this? And does articulating it do anything, or does it matter? Is like, I mean, anti-Semitism is still bad. for like a lot of different reasons. It's pretty bad to, I mean, the only reason you really need is like, you don't want the Holocaust to happen. Obviously, that's kind of all but it doesn't, even bracketing that, which is, again, an insane thing to say. It's not good to embrace all the anti-Semitic, like, not even just words, because, again, people put too much talk in words, maybe, sometimes. But, like, ways of thinking about politics, where it's like, Israel controls America. And it's like, it's hard to imagine someone making like a material analysis of politics and thinking that that's the way that goes. That's just silly, right? If you can't have an explanation of politics where Israel is a client state of America, then, because you get, one other thing that falls into is this kind of sloppulous idea of like, the problem there is that we don't have good old-fashioned American politicians deciding American interests, because when American politicians decide American interests, it's great and it's good for us. That's, you know, there's like a Republican sort of, or like right-wing, like libertarian kind of bent there, and it's like, you have to differentiate yourself in some way from the right-wing libertarians, whose point is like, we don't like foreign aid in general because those aren't Americans, and who gives a fuck about non-Americans? Yeah. It's just, it's hard to find a way of explaining how Israel is the country that's controlling America, and not that Israel is a useful ally to America, and in a materialist way. Or it's hard to explain why that is, outside of like either like dual loyalty stuff with American Jews, or just like anti-Semitism. Like all of the money, virtually all of the money that goes, I've said this before, and I'll say it, like the money that goes to Israel is, as far as I'm aware, virtually all of it is like, it's not just money. It's like Chuck E. Cheese tokens that can only be used on the American military-industrial complex. Like, so it is profitable for the American bourgeois class, particularly the ones invested in the military-industrial complex. Yeah, useful is debatable now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, God. That was such a fascinating, I was looking at this more because I'm doing a QA episode right now, or I'm writing one on the use of AI slop in propaganda. For propaganda. And it's so fascinating. Like the only AI slop that I've seen, AI propaganda slop I've seen where I'm like, that is incredible. It's like the Iran Lego stuff, which I heard about from Julian Casablancas. When I was at Coachella, and he was like talking about like, maybe I should put on those Iran AI videos, and I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And like Iran gets a pass for using AI slop. I know I know that I have for some reason, a reputation for loving AI on the internet. But I generally do not like seeing AI stuff, particularly when it's like related to art or videos, because it's just never good. Like maybe at that level you can say that I'm a lover of AI. Is that if it made like if AI made like literary classics, if it was actually pumping them out, I would support it. I think that would be great. That'd be awesome. Well, I wouldn't support, anyway. I would enjoy them. But they're really not. It's really not. Yeah, the Sora thing, I downloaded Sora because I was like fascinated. I was like, well, what does it look like? What does like a scrolling app that's purely AI slop look like? And the answer is it's dog shit. It's terrible. I want to find, but the exception to that is do they like delete all the videos? I feel like I can't find any Iran AI slop videos. Why are they not?
If you're on.
Oh, it's a Zoomer? That's so awesome. Respect to him. God, I want to find the one where it's like the Iranians mail like a coffin to the White House and like Donald Trump's super afraid. And the reason why I make an exception for the Iranian AI slot videos is because I like the idea of, I think we talked about this in the QA podcast a bit. I like the idea of Iranians being like, okay, Americans, like famously I've sometimes had difficulty with counter, propaganda to Americans. With the reformist Ayatollah who was like, Democracy in America, who I assume most Americans have read. I like the idea of like having that perspective and being like, okay, fuck, like what do we know about America? What do we know that they like? And it's like it's consumerism and it's AI slop. And we're just gonna depict things in that through that framework to really get it through to them what they're doing.
Any dimension of
I cannot. Yes, it's like the quote.
A new hand.
God, it's so annoying. I can't just find. I wonder if they're like. You think it'd be on Twitter? I wonder if they're like purposefully deboosting the videos themselves. YouTube deleted them. Wow. Okay, Jackson Inkle, of course. If there's one place on the internet I can go to find the newest Lego AI Iran slop, it's the Jackson Inkle. See, it's like it's like I feel like I immediately think of like Soviet propaganda. Who's making this? According to that video that I watched a second of, it is a Zoomer. It is some Iranian Zoomer. This one kind of doesn't hit as hard. Hollywood on Fire is good. I mean, of course, you want the ones with terrible songs. Yes, that is absolutely what I want. Yeah, cause AI can make like slop rap songs, because it makes slop music in general. It is like, I think I made this joke on the episode that like an anti-imperialism AI slop video is like made in a lab specifically for Julian Casablancas. Here we go.
This one's specially for you. You punk ass rapist bitch. Straight from Iran. Your tattoo covered clown with that cafe ink on your arm. Think you a crusader? Nah, just a drunk infidel in a fake uniform. Chain to kill all Muslims. Wasted in the hotel lobby. Sexual assault settlement in Monterey. Blocked the door, took a phone, paid her off quiet, cause Me Too was on. Now you secretary? What a joke, bro. Cheated on wives, multiple affairs. Kids in the mix, family man? Hell no. Handsy with women at Fox, drunk on the job. Your own team say, yo, this dude toxic. Couldn't even guard Biden's inauguration. Your own military said next. Book called American Crusade, dreaming holy war. But reality check. You just a failed vet, turned TV clown, slipping on your own mess. Trump picked you cause you kissed the ring. But wait, funny part ain't coming. The dude you sucking up to for that secretary gig. Trump himself was Bill Clinton's top cocksucker, giving blue jobs back in the day. Real talk.
It does make sense that this is made by a Zoomer, though.
You out here blowing for access, but
Play us
he
an
the
EDC.
original BJ Queen. You thought our missiles max 2000.
We call him gay. But yeah, no. This was made perfectly. This was made in a lab perfectly. I do like the addition with the AI rap videos that they just like all default to being Macklemore. I think that's perfect. Because I think that's exactly like, if you're making an AI video, an AI like rap song, you probably also like that is the perfect person to make an AI rap song for.
Cute rookie mistake.
It is Pacific Northwest culture. If I could think, I couldn't think of a better, like, it would only be more perfect if it rapped like BB No Money.
Hitting the bow, worshiping Epstein Island crew, the ones who hurt the kids. Revenge for every American soul, you and Trump's dirty crew oppressed and did. We taking payback for the
like Pacific Northwest, like white guy rapping.
girls. You broke the wives, you broke the Muslims you hate. Every victim screaming in the dark.
Anyway, it's fascinating. Lego Resistance Front. I should follow this. These are the. Still better than 4G Auto Blow? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is he still going? I guess so. Yeah, I wonder what's happening with those sort of people now that Trump's popularity is getting so bad. So sorry, my nose is... Okay, so I'm not going to click on this. I can see this. There's actually, well, you can see a butt. I mean, I think it's fine. She's got clothes on. There's one video that I refuse to click on from 2 months ago that is that I'm just gonna highlight the title and move on with my life. But he's washed though. He's got like 50,000 views. He's completely washed.
I am gay.
Random me dub, thank you. Fascinating stuff, folks. Anyway. Yeah, that's another thing that's interesting that has been happening recently. Classic QAnon rappers and artists. Oh, that's a good. I feel like they're all gone. Probably. They're probably all especially after like now that everyone hates Trump too. Like, I didn't really think about how Trump's cratering approval rating is going to negatively affect QAnon. Because, like, what happens when it happens twice? Do you know what I mean? Like, you believe in QAnon, you're like, everything's going to happen, it's going to be amazing, and then January 6th happens, everyone hates Trump, he's kicked out of the office, and you're like, oh no, it's over. And then, like, in traditional, like, in, like, movie fashion, as if it's a fucking movie script, he actually just comes back. And he's like, this time we're actually going to drain the swamp. The problem was the neocons, we don't have the neocons in anymore. And then does a bunch of foreign wars, and then his approval rating craters, and then gas is fucking expensive. Surely the second time is, like, even more humiliating than the first one. Oh no. Tom McDonald's still going. I do think that the real takeaway...
They always say...
Oh. You know what? First, is he, like... He's doing the... He's doing the MGK thing. Yeah, he's pivoting away from rap. That's crazy. What I wanted to... he's doing the MGK thing. I wanted to find the I know this song. I know the lyrics to this song. He's like the one MGK. Not because I've actually heard it, but because I heard... Has anyone heard the remix to that song? I can't... Is it this one? No, it's not. Isn't... Okay, it is this. It is this one, okay. This one, I saw it in Instagram Reels, and it's like stuck in my head now. Or it used to be stuck in my head. Which is, by the way, the most insanely racist lyric to any song that I've ever heard. Is they tried to tell us that Black Lives Matter. I feel like I was thinking about that when this song was stuck in my head. Punished by God for going on Instagram Reels for the song stuck in my head. Sorry, it's just... yeah, anyway. Anyway. Eric Girk dancing to this at the end of her autobiography movie. Anyway, yeah, I think the answer is that, like, Tom McDonald is, like, the only one standing. Because he's going still. Like, he's still doing it. I think there's a certain contingent of people of like what I would assume in my image. This is a world that I'm entirely not privy to, of like generally white trash people who loved Eminem and are like, I hate rap, but Eminem is like he's like one of the only smart ones who raps. Like that sort of person. Like their 9/11 was like that's an awfully hot coffee pot. Remember that? Remember that one? Should I drop it on Donald Trump? Like that was 9/11 to those people, and all of those people switched to someone who was like Tom McDonald, right? I think they probably fixated on. It's another great moment, and yeah, like someone in 2023 who's like, I just hate mumble rap so much. Which, I mean, saying that at any year is not good, but like, How does this factor into the white rapper creation?
Be the next SNL cast member, and here's why I should be a contender. Hi, Lorne Michaels, I'm Jake Novak, and I know that you're feeling the heat because your roster lost Kate, Kyle, 80, and Pete.
This is a classic
moment.
moment.
Seat, and I feel I ought to be feeling it, because when it comes to comedy songs, I kind of been killing it. See, weekly music videos are my jam, bruh. I'm a rapid rhyming hammy nerd like Lin-Manuel Miranda mixed with Sammy Berg. But haven't you heard? I'm more than a rapper. I'm an actor too. So here's a couple of nice guys getting their jackets. After you, after you, after you, after you. After you. After you've seen that scene, I mean, I'm in, right? But I'm
fire. The one thing I remember from this was that, like, was it the very end? I no longer have the phone. No, it's a different one. I used to have the, God, my voice is so dead. I have, like, my throat is very sore today. Joe Cat vibes. I forgot about that guy. I used to have a black iPhone 13 with a red case, and it was identical to the phone that he has in this video, or in one of his videos. I hope he's still going. I hope that internet harassment hasn't, like, oh, no, he's washed. I was gonna say, I hope it doesn't, like, you know, like, snuffed out his flame. He returned to his day job as a Disney cast member, yeah. He is very, like, I don't think this is necessarily the case, but he is very liberal Zionist coded. The haters got to, unfortunately. Sometimes the haters win, and that's okay. Oh yeah, but back to Britain. My understanding is that Starmer is in he's in the Starmer bunker right now. I guess instead of Fagaline, he was screaming streeting. That was kind of the final betrayal. I mean, it was already over so much earlier than that, but like streeting leaving, and the last time I checked up on this, which was a couple days before this, I think, my understanding was that streeting was not going to make an attempt at the prime ministership. I said this before, the joke that going from Starmer to streeting is like shitting your pants and changing your shirt. But it seems like that's not the case now. Could he be trying to do Brexit again to split Britain in half? I hope so. And I said Burnham is the other possibility, right? He was like a bit more progressive. Progressive, I mean pejoratively, by the way. Like, I don't, who is the mayor of, Birmingham? No, Manchester. He's the mayor of Manchester, which means that his way of, contesting Starmer is a lot more, it takes a while because someone has to give up their seat and then he has to run in the election, like to formally challenge Starmer for leadership. Welsh and Scottish independence suit. I mean, the Welsh Independence Party, or the Welsh Nationalist Party, which is in Welsh that I cannot remember. I cannot fucking remember how to pronounce this name. Plaid Cymru. Won like a shit ton of what is it, seats in the local election recently. Crushing the Labour Party. I know the Labour Party has been strong there since like 1922. What was the map of that? Welsh elections. So Labour is like a dead party. Labour is virtually destroyed. Welsh election 2026. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Hey, raise the banners. The Welsh have hit the border again. This is crazy. It's the PCs. Reform for English speakers, that makes sense. And then PC for Welsh speakers. That's so awesome. I do like the idea of being like an Englishman in Wales and being like, we need to get the foreigners out. I'm native to this specific land. But anyway, yeah, it seems like labor is continuing to die even more. The dynamic that would have been interesting is if Streeting like doesn't get in, and Burnham does. Like, what happens to the Green Party? Because it seems like the Green Party is kind of stealing a lot of that. Like, as far as I'm aware, it's generally like city, like urban younger voters. Like that constituency of the Labour Party. Summers overrun the Ironborn at deep mode. That's what we need to talk about more. Is a Song of Ice and Fire. Although, see, the problem with this stream is that there's like I've been talking with talking about the Winds of Winter. The problem with this stream is that I've been talking about things that are too interesting. There's too many things that have been I need to talk about a thing that I've already that has been completely beaten to death. Where there are no updates at all, and there have not been any updates for the last decade. Which is the joy of only streaming occasionally, is to just come back and just talk about the exact same things that I always talk about. Didn't Hassan got a subpoena? Fed subpoena Hassan Piker, which is, again,
how is socialism?
It's an insane. Yeah, for going to Cuba, he says he hasn't gotten anything yet. I mean, it's not a surprise. He'll be getting one by Fox. I don't understand. Broader effort by officials at Treasury, State, and Justice Department to curb malign foreign influence operations inside the United States. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's big enough now that it's not a surprise that he would be a target. And Hassan is like the most left-wing voice in national American politics, or the largest like left-wing. Is that true? That might be true. Like at the level of like cultural influence. Particularly from someone who isn't a politician. It's very weird to hear out loud. But it could be Mehdi-san, but like, how left-wing is Mehdi-san? Hassan is most certainly, without a question, the most left-wing, like, Marxist. Or, you know, open Marxist, however you want to. That's presumably the case. I mean, you know, he's very practical, obviously. Mehdi-san is British, that is true. I know, air quotes Marx. I mean, yeah, I was trying to. How do I phrase that in a way where everyone's happy is impossible? Is impossible too. But that is strange. That is strange to me. r/imaginary history timeline. We do live in an r/imaginary. I mean, Donald Trump being the president is an r/imaginary, like, maps timeline. The concept, explaining to someone the idea in 2013 that it's like there's going to be a constitutional crisis where like a certain like, you know, like possibly double-digit percentage of the American population will like openly want Donald Trump to seize like dictatorial powers and suspend democracy. It would be like, fuck off. The down the hall and to the left guy from Home Alone 2. He's a neocon who thinks he's a Leninist? Yeah, probably. It's like 100 million people. No, I think there's 100 million people who would be fine with him doing that. I think there's like double-digit people who actively want him to do that. Which at a certain level, it's like, who gives a shit about the distinction? But, yes, going back and telling someone in 2019 that the like 3K Andy Hassan Piker, nephew of Jank, is like, has a stream that like particularly larger American progressive politicians, even like gay. Did he have Newsom on? Bonbly, thank you for the prime. This is something I always think about that's so interesting. And someone makes this tweet like every month because it's like really fucking funny. It's like, do you remember when like Destiny tried to have like tried to do serious politics? Every once in a while you get someone who has been like negatively polarized against Hassan Piker. Based on like left, like, you know, internet liberal versus leftist discourse. Who's like, it's not fair that like they get a guy who's so big. Like, why can't there be like a liberal who's like Hassan Piker? And it's like, there is a liberal who's like Hassan Piker in a sense. Like, it's just he also happens to, you know, have allegedly slept with a 17-year-old or sexted a 17-year-old. I think that one of the reasons why it was so easy for like Hassan of all people to be like the person in Twitch politics, if there was any person in Twitch politics to become like a person in real politics, is because like everyone who's in Twitch politics, in virtue of being in Twitch politics, is going to be fucking insane. Particularly, especially that sort of debate culture that used to be like so prevalent in like the late 2010s. It's hard to emphasize how much more normal. Ignora, thank you. Hey, Lumi. It's hard to emphasize how much more normal a Twitch politics culture is, where Hassan is someone who's hegemonic, compared to like if Destiny was the Hassan of the Twitch political landscape. Just how much more insane. Or even like, because that was so interesting, like the other big one is like Hutch, right? I can't say that I like particularly track these people, but that is my understanding. No, is he washed? Is he washed? Okay, never mind. But like, he had a controversy about like something. It was some insane claim he made about Hassan, because again, he's like maybe 100 viewers. Oh, he's washed. Oh wow, really? That's crazy. Damn, he's washed. Damn. I was gonna say, like, he had a controversy, someone recently, where he said something weird about Hassan, and I remember he was just completely insane about it. Denims or Mike? Well, I was thinking about someone who wasn't like in the Hassan sphere, because that's the thing that like I see some liberals complain about, is like the oh, it's all Hassan or Hassan adjacent. It's people who like are like, socialism is something I like and I don't like liberalism. what I would call like the democratic socialist bloc, I guess, culturally speaking. Northern Lion would do it. Northern Lion is a New Deal Democrat. The Hassan stable. Yeah. But yeah, it's because so many people are fucking, particularly I think out of that like debate culture, we're fucking insane. And, like that's why they like doing the debate thing, is because they're insane people. Because only an insane person is like the thing that I like doing is getting on a Twitch panel and arguing about the JQ with like 5 random people, 2 of which are open neo-Nazis, 1 of which is a closet neo-Nazi, and the other of which is like a what is that called? Fuck. When you have the, you know, the thing, when you have the, it's like an animated, when you, is a VTuber. Fuck. I got it. I landed it. You, that's not a Biden count. It's not a Biden count because I figured it out. I didn't need you. And the VTuber is one of the open Nazis. A rant Sona, yeah. Yeah, I could you imagine if like the person who is like big, who's actually becomes like relevant to real world American politics, who like out of like the Twitch street like sphere is like one of those like ANCAP libertarian furries, where it's like it's like 2-hour video like with a rant Sona about like why Marxism is wrong. The last thing a commie sees. I think you're describing my neighbors. That's sick. What happened? What's up with Dean Withers? Because that is the real answer, actually. Is that Dean Withers is like the like lib? He's not doing bad. He's got 3K viewers right now. I guess the actual answer is it's Dean Withers. But it's interesting, like Henry Sisson as well. we have to watch that clip. Sorry, we have to watch the. You know what clip I'm coming. You know which clip. You know which clip I'm. Yeah, I mean.
Have you been to Costco before, Harry? I saw you garnered some controversy online.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You garnered some controversy. Have you been to Costco?
No.
Never.
No.
You're lying to me right now.
I've never been to Costco.
You passed gas at a Costco.
Oh, is that? This is. I don't know what you're talking about.
You farted at Costco. A journalist was there.
Okay.
From CT ESPN, Antonio Brown. He broke the story on X. He said, Harry Sisson farted with this photo. What is this about? This appears to be ejaculant of perhaps 4 or 5 loads, based upon what I'm shooting. That appears to be 4 or 5 men's loads. What were you doing with it in your bum? And why did you? You knew that you farted at Costco. Also, there appears to be a tire track. This is your getaway. And you left the workers to clean it up. Champagne Liberty. Huh?
From CTES.
Can you please explain this photograph? It's very confusing.
Sorry, I just got it.
And it's controversial.
Oh, dude. I can't even like you.
Harry, just answer the question.
It's not true. It's not true.
You're ducking and diving and
it's a fabrication. It's a fabrication.
Why would this man lie? Antonio Brown, why would he say this got 2.5 million views?
Do you know who Antonio Brown is?
2.5 million people think that you farted out perhaps 3 full loads of a man.
Yeah.
Harry,
that's so funny.
So this journalist, Antonio Brown from CT ESPN, And you also, Harry, you clapped back at this journalist, Antonio Brown. You said 11 women accused you of claiming to be. Oh, no. What is it? No, never mind. You said that there was a clapback you did that said that he went to jail for refusing to pay his child support.
That's right. He was arrested. Yeah.
So that also, the Harris song cancellation was really cool. Because it was like, wasn't it he was like playing the field? Like the thing he did was that he was telling multiple women that like he was only like casually dating them, and that he like wasn't seeing anyone else.
You think that someone's a bad father just because they go to jail?
No, I think they're a bad father if they don't pay their child
understand what
support.
our criminal justice system is like?
It can be
so
unfair.
just because you go to jail, then you're no longer qualified to be a father?
Well,
Can I actually? What were the Snapchat captions? Harry Sisson Snapchat. Okay, it just, I don't know what I expected. It was just like Snapchat photos of Harry Sisson. What were the captions? Gen Z is so cool. Harry Sisson convinced 11 different women that he had no roster and respected them for more than their bodies. Explicit photos of themselves, including one from a domestic abuse survivor, which I feel like is an odd inclusion there. Like I don't, what is the implication of that? No, but I mean this wouldn't work. It is odd because like they still got a lot of attention, but then it just like didn't do anything. This is, wait, is this, you definitely have a lot to offer, no doubt. I think right now I can't do exclusivity, not because I'm getting nudes from a bunch of girls or fucking girls and stuff. I don't hook up with anyone ever, but because I just don't think I'd be able to commit 100% to something. Also, since we live in different states, exclusivity would be hard. I mean, who amongst us? Like, sorry, like... That's so awesome. That's so fascinating. Like anyway, it was a fascinating moment, fascinating cultural moment. Because it's interesting. Because like, it's weird because you would think that a thing like this would only get a certain amount of attention in like 2019, like when call out culture was like really crazy. But something I've noticed, and I don't know if this is a change or if this is like a thing that's always been the case, is that it gets the same amount of attention. It's just that nothing happens. Which is so like, it's such an interesting change. Because I've noticed this about like a lot of the different times like recently where people have been like really mad at me on the internet for like just an innocuous tweet, is that it still gets the attention. It's just that nothing happens afterwards. Your Honor, we also need to cancel him for... Everyone just forgets. And then like there are some people who don't forget. Also, hello, hey Saber. Everyone like... There's some people who don't forget, but it like doesn't matter. I think it's like people have just really enjoyed like... I think people have enjoyed a certain component of like 2019 call out culture, but I don't know. It's interesting because I like when I remember like being, that's so beast. That is so fucking beast. I love the classic like, it's nice that the youth are still using Snapchat in the exact same way that they were using it when I was the youth, because I'm old now. I'm 28 years old, chat. It's like when you first, I don't know why people would do that, where you have a snap photo and then your eyes are closed for some reason. It's like why did you close your eyes? What does that add to like a? But people like, do you know what I'm talking about? Is this an insane? It's the only time that people pose for photos. It's aura. I think you're right. 27 is the last year, I think. One interesting thing I noticed from like 2019 cancel culture or call it culture, because cancel culture is like such a big word that it's like, immediately tune it out. Frisbee, thank you.
A brown
Is that a lot of the times the people who were like leading the campaigns of like, you need to unfollow this, why do I have 7 mutuals with this person? Or, you know, why do I have 30 mutuals with this person? They like start tagging them in the comment, you know, is that those people are also very problematic and say like very problematic shit or shit that's at the same level of what they're mad about. It's just they only say it about someone who they have deemed to be problematic, which in their minds makes it like acceptable. And it's best because then it's like, well, then the call of culture eats their own, because like eventually someone's going to be frustrated by the thing that you said. And because this is a very argumentative person who's going to continually reply and like make it so that the people who are mad at them are going to be continually hot and angry, like add a lot of fuel to the fire, then like they end up just like burning up really quickly. And I wonder how much, because I've seen that recently. I remember there's a thing about the blue lady that people were really mad about. Remember that? And then people were really mad at me because I would just like replied to her. It's like I saw people who were like calling her ugly, where it's like, oh, she looks like shit, and it's like I like bracketing even like whether the original thing she said was like correct or not, or whether it was like, surely if you have a problem with her like not liking trans men or whatever, you would probably also have a problem with someone like saying that trans women on the internet like are like look disgusting, like, you know, like doing that sort of cyberbullying. Like I don't know, it's strange where a lot of the times it seems like even bracketing the discourses themselves, it's people who are looking to be problematic in the way that they're mad about another person being problematic. Yeah. And the other thing about that discourse that's interesting, and you saw this with, I wonder, I don't know. I guess the difference between call culture now compared to then is that it bears no mark, or bears very little mark on like someone's institutional legitimacy. That it's much harder to create like a Twitter campaign to get someone fired. I guess. Presumably. I don't know. Because it feels like it's either coming back or it's always been here. Yeah. Anyway. I think oftentimes when people think about harm that's been said on the internet, they don't think about like when they want to punish someone, when they want accountability, they don't actually think about concretely what the thing that they're doing would cause. As like, how can I explain this better? In the case of the blue lady who was like, oh, I don't like trans men in a particular way, which also, but anyway, you know, anyway, it's kind of a strange thing to say, but is that like in that context, harassing anyone who's like friends with her, people do not think about the fact that like what they are functionally doing to that person is isolating them from the internet, right? That in their mind, the calculus for you saying that is you just cannot have any sort of public friendship with another figure on the internet. You can't be friendly with them without them having to deal with a shit ton of grief. Like I feel like with a lot of the times when people in that sort of reaction, as well as just generally in this sort of call out culture, the concrete things that people are doing to other people are not thought about. It's abstracted in a way of just like, well, they said something that's bad, and so surely there needs to be a response, and I'm doing a response. And And that in reality, even if something that's said is harmful, like, the response that you're doing is not minimizing harm by any means. If everyone followed these sort of rules for dealing with harm and people claiming to have been harmed on the internet, then there would be way more harm than could possibly be the case from if we dealt with this in a different way. Amazon Digital Circus creator getting lit up for their movie leaking and saying they don't care. What is... Oh, amazing. Amazon Digital Circus. I don't know what this is. I recognize this. I've seen this clown before. I don't know what it means, though. Is this more Tumblr than me? Is this like I'm not Tumblr enough to know what this is? It's pretty good. Kind of. Happy Tree Friends. That's... What is that? Oh, I don't know what this is. Different internet. There are internets everywhere for those with the eyes to see. Anyway, what was I talking about? So I'm very out of it today. Maybe it's identical. Maybe in my estimation, I'm stumbling over my words a lot more than normal, because I think sick and still recovering from a big music festival. But it's probably just the same. It's probably just how it normally is, if we're being honest. I'm also writing a QA episode. You know, to Liv Garcia when she said she's tired. It's true. I am a famously tired person. I was going to go on a rant about how I've always been tired, but instead, that made me think about how the extent to which Twitch streaming makes you a narcissist. Because like defaulting to just like talking about yourself, like here's this stupid anecdote
I am gay.
Is uninteresting. Chelsea Victory, thank you. There's no... The social world where you are rewarded for just talking about yourself in an uninteresting way is probably not good. There's no other world where there shouldn't be any other environment where I can just say that and then people will be like, yeah, that's great. I'm gonna continue listening to this. This is content you should be rewarded for monetarily. It's been good. Not streaming has a positive effect on my brain, unfortunately. I mean, you're in my 6th monitor. I know, but still. Yes, that is another good, humbling component of being on the internet and doing this sort of content. And I say content in a vulgar way. Is that you're always the second monitor. You know, the person listening to you is playing Hades. And is, of course, using the shield because they're a bottom. You're listening right now. I know you're playing Hades, and I know you're using the shield because you're a bottom. You're playing Mono Green Landfall. That's so much worse. I've also been getting into Magic. I've also been playing a lot of Magic Arena. I got to Platinum, which I know is very easy, but I did it very quickly, so I have been playing Is It Prowess. I'm going to switch to Control Deck when I get the hang of it. But Is It Prowess is just so easy. It's such a busted play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I feel like my impression of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that it's like a fake card game. Like, I mean, I guess I can't talk shit about this because standard in Magic the Gathering does oftentimes end on the third round. The third turn, that's the word for it. But like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh feels like a game before they I mean technically not, because it's actually after Magic, but before they thought of like adding a mana system where it's like, oh yeah, we actually have to have a way to prevent players from playing literally every card in their deck immediately and then killing the other person.
I am gay.
Hey, Blum, thank you. I played Hearthstone as a high schooler, as a teenager. I think I got to did I get to rank 8? You know, when it was that ranking system. So I was like, okay. But I've increasingly come to appreciate the extent to which Hearthstone is a baby game. What class did I run? What class do people think I run? Actually, I shouldn't have told you guys which deck I play because I was curious what energy I give off. Hunter, that's fair. That's a fair reading. Warlock. Major Warlock, yeah, pretty much. I mean, when I was playing, there was not that many good meta mage decks, so I mainly played Handlock. That's my go-to. Black Templar still throwing me. That was really funny. Is there was some lady who was really mad at me on Twitter. Handlock the goat, absolutely, of course. Who was genuinely trying to be that's suspicious. You play Black Templar, this is revealing about how you're secretly a fascist. And it was someone who was gatekeeping me from 40K, which I do love. I love the implication. Who is managed? That's a good question. I love the implication of someone it makes sense if you don't play 40K and you're oh, Black Templar, it's the Chud faction. But if you play the game where there is a Chud faction, it's like being oh, this person is so problematic for playing Germany and Hearts of Iron 4 while playing Italy. You're allied to the they're slightly less, your faction is slightly less bad than mine. That's the point of the game. The point of the game is that you play something that's evil. But that is the answer why I like Templar, is because I don't playing Salamanders or something, one of the good ones, or better ones. It's well, they're all evil. The point of this game is to play someone who's evil. If you find that repulsive, then you should play a different game. Minus orcs, because they're having fun, but they're also evil, of course. Painting black armor is hard. Yeah, no, I suck at painting. I'm so bad at it. I think I have 2,000 built at this point. It's not like a proper list because I've just been getting stuff I find cool. But painting has been a real barrier to actually finishing my army. I can still play with it, but it takes a while. I'm not very good at it. The only non-Chud faction is the Tau. Yes, Tau is Globe Emoji Pervert. Absolutely. 100%. The not evil, the actual not evil factions are probably Orcs and Tyranids. Tyranid's a very lady coded faction. Cause it's just it's pure instinct or whatever. It's just a phenomenon. A phenomenon.
I am
Freaking
gay.
Magic cards. Edgelord, thank you. I proxied the Necron deck. Or I proxied a version of the Necron deck. Necrons are... I feel like I should like Necrons more. Necrons are the commie faction, exactly. C2C, thank you.
I am gay.
And then I'm working on a real non-proxied commander deck as well. It's Dimir control Gale deck, because I think I do like control the most, because it's annoying. And I like being annoying. The elf stand-ins are Eldari. Chelsea Victory, thank you. Did you pay the one? I'm not putting...
Do you pay the one?
I'm not putting any stack stuff in it because it's too annoying. So we're like a blue player. I do think my girlfriend is good at Magic. She's been playing a long time, and she's like, you're a blue player. And I think that's true. Like spiritually, like she called it before I started like playing. Is like playing enough to like know which color I like. But anyway, what else? What actually interesting things are happening on the internet? We're talking about Harry Sasson, how like, yeah, the actual like lib influencers. It's so interesting how like the only ones that are actually palatable to lib politics, like Harry Sasson, we're like, right, like where he's like, you know, Biden would never have appeared with like any of the like debate perverts, you know, who in my mind are like the liberal political influencers of like the like pre-Biden period, maybe like late 2010s. It's interesting how that entire culture for influencers who are like related to like the liberal democratic machine to come out to pop out from these sort of internet cultures, to actually like be recognized by that democratic machine. You have to just completely purge the debate perverts. Like anyone who is on a panel with like Destiny or a Destiny orbiter at any point had to be like completely culturally purged. You had to not have known who that was, like growing up, you know, because like Sasson is like 22, isn't he? Hunter Biden Candace Owens is maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, that is maybe the funniest thing ever. It's maybe the fact that they're like friends.
Hunter Biden. Welcome to the Candace Owens show.
In what might be one of the most
this like this endears me in the way that I in the particular mode that I find evil Nazi chuds endearing. This endears me to Candace Owens in a way I've never seen anything like in a she has never been this endearing to me. She's never said anything that has activated my like my like chud fetishist instinct. That's the thing. I would have never thought that this could happen, but I see it and I'm totally like, it totally makes complete perfect sense. Like an important thing to understand about Candace, I think, is that she's very messy. You could see this with like Nick Fuentes as well, of like how she would sometimes play nice with him. Is that like there's a part of like he's mirroring, he is. There's like something about like Candace appreciates someone who's also messy. Liv is an intense maternal response to Candace Owens, yeah.
pairings of 2026,
yeah, exactly.
Candace Owens invited Hunter Biden onto her podcast to the shock and surprise of men.
I don't.
Former first. Here are three three banked by the right.
Show me the clip.
Was it yours?
No, not only was it not mine. I've been sober since June 1st of 2019. Clean and sober.
Biden went on to.
She's like a particular type of messy. Yeah, this is TikTok slap, unfortunately. I thought it was just gonna be the clips. Which why would I ever?
Still don't know what happened to Charlie Kirk. Yeah. There's zero interest. That's another thing that just completely for me was like done with Trump whatsoever. Like, I mean, there's just no way for someone who came from the inside and
it's so funny how much Hunter Biden does look like his dad.
Watched the work that Charlie did to get these people elected. Don Jr. was like a brother to Charlie, literally like a brother to him.
Yeah.
And
you know the Life Sheet Out of Fire gossip column. I will correct you every excuse. the fire gossip column she has exists in this life right now.
To see the Trump brothers, to see Donald Trump himself, Kash Patel, who Charlie pushed for him to lead the FBI, had him on his podcast, JD Vance, like
the component of this that's surprising is to me is Hunter Biden, but it is important to remember that he is like a conservative moron. Like Hunter Biden was actually very important in getting Donald Trump elected in a certain sense, because he pushed for Biden to keep running. He was a really important member of Biden's inner circle. Because that is the thing, like, one, you could say many things about Joseph Biden. One thing that you can't say is that he's a bad dad. Like, he supports his son. Even when that was political suicide, he was like, I trust my son. He's going to be with me. It's not going to be a secret.
You know, came out of nowhere. Charlie was like not sleeping to make that happen. And to see all of these people have zero interest in the obvious holes in the story. Like, no, turn the chapter a week later, it's all solved. Yeah. And this is how it went down, and none of it makes sense, but just accept this slop. It is
what
the
is
most...
I want to see what Hunter Biden says.
Sheer evil.
But by the way, for real, exactly.
Like, I'm
exactly. It is good versus evil.
Yeah.
They have
Hunter Biden QAnon
torn the mask off.
Is that is a Hunter Biden? Is that a QAnon line? Am I crazy?
Of this, I said to you before.
Good versus evil Q.
Is that I pray to God.
Where does that quote come from?
That
it feels
by the
very
end of
cute
this,
to me.
that you think of me as a friend, because if anything ever happened to me, I want you and Melissa team up. You like, oh my God!
Of it's not happening to Charlie Kirk.
And the criticism of you for asking the questions for someone who was like a brother to you is like, what the F are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the gaslighting. It's like, how dare you care?
You're coming from someone who you've attacked and you've politically, you've had all of your criticism, which I have no problem with, and we disagree on so many things. But I listen to you and I go, right on.
Hunter Biden Blackfire theory.
Like, Epstein, like, you want to figure out why they don't want to let the release all the.
One of the interesting components of this as well is that, like, conservatives must have been really mad about the fact that Biden. I mean, at the point of the Epstein files, like, Biden is kind of dead politically. Like, Biden is completely not, as far as I'm aware, just not involved in the Epstein stuff at all. Like, there's no...
The Epstein files? All you got to do is literally look at a picture of Trump standing on his...
So it makes sense. It makes sense for Hunter to be polarized in this way, because he's like he's like a dumb guy.
At his inauguration and look behind him.
I do think there was something about the Charlie Kirk assassination that everyone just sort of looked up. You know, we just sort of all looked up at the machine and was like, wait a second, what is this? Because they expected Trump to
be genocide for the fun. Well, I mean, I don't think Epstein... Well, I wouldn't say that Epstein had nothing to do with Israel, because that's clearly not true. Because he had like an Israeli passport, did he not? There's some Mossad connection with like Ghislaine's dad, particularly. I don't think that anyone was backing genocide in the American government because of their relation to Epstein, though.
Be right or die.
Oh yeah, and then Abe Brock. You're right, of course, Abe Brock. Yeah, of course. That's the direct one.
They expected cash. I mean, wow, this is going to be solved.
I mean, Biden backing the genocide despite having no involvement in Epstein is probably good evidence, or a good example of Epstein not being like a necessary condition for American foreign policy
in the clearest way possible, because the entire political apparatus that has the power in the Department of Justice is in the hands of Charlie Kirk's friends. Like, that was how I felt, right? This is it. No, whoever did this is never going to get away with it, because these are Charlie's friends. And what did we get?
They're the people that Charlie Kirk made.
That's the thing that this makes sense to me now, is that Hunter Biden is like a friends and family beyond are the most important thing. And you know, we may have political disagreements, but he was your friend, damn it.
Just one question for the culture. The cocaine that was found at the White House, was it yours?
No, I've been sober since June 1st of 2019. clean and sober. Verifiably so, by the way, and verifiably so by the Bureau of Probation, in which I was drug tested randomly for over the course of 2 years while I went through my trials and things like that. But beyond that is that, directly to your question, I wasn't even there. Not only there, but people have to understand is where that cocaine was found was.
It's a shame for Hunter Biden that Joe Biden didn't just like run a single term and then back out and then bow out. Like that he isn't like a popular figure or a much more popular figure. Because he like, could you imagine if like Obama had a son who just looked very similar to Obama and also talked exactly like Obama?
You know the visitor's entrance.
Obama too. like that would be, people would love it. Like he really is. It's insane. Like I want to find a clip of like younger Biden. He really, Josh Shapiro, yeah. Young Biden. He really looks and sounds like a younger Biden. That's it. He's 29 here. That's a rough 29.
There's an awful lot of damn fools in the Congress and the Senate and those who want to get there, but
that's a rough 29.
There's no way you can legislate against that.
Biden is a year older than me in this clip.
Right. But you think in the long run that the American people are going to put up with their money being squandered on all?
This is how you age when you support. When you're a war hawk.
With a small group of men and organizations determining the.
Yeah, but that is the thing as well. Yes, he's Biden, but then he got his mom's hairline. Exactly.
That is where visitors come in and they come over from the old executive office building staff to go to the Oval or go to the.
Does Bo have a shit ton of skeletons in his closet? I didn't know that. What's up with Bo Biden? Because that was I guess Bo was like the politician's son, but it's funny because Bo doesn't look like, or didn't look like Biden at all.
Chief of Staff's office or to the offices in the West Wing, and it was found in a cubby, in right outside of the Situation Room, and it's like no.
Wasn't Biden against busing? Not only that, do you guys remember the like 2020 Democrat debate? Like the first thing that Kamala did was specifically call out Biden on busing.
Possibility, not even remotely beyond.
Do you remember that? And it was an interesting moment because it was like, oh, Kamala's like going for it. Like she doesn't want to just settle for like trying to be like maybe Biden's VP because he was like yeah, I was that girl, yeah. And then it was a debate, yeah, a classic.
On the fact that I wasn't even there. I mean, I spent probably, over the course of 4 years, maybe 25 days at the White House, like 25 nights, 30, if I'm being fair. And so it's just it was an easy,
Yes, and then of course she was one of the first to drop out because like no one.
We've also heard, and I'm going to now.
She's not a very good politician.
This at Vice President Biden. I do not believe you are a racist, and I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Yeah. It's so funny Kamala's trying to do a 2028 run. Joe is barely a president. It's it's so fascinating to think of how different his perception would be if he just gave it up after the first term. Yeah.
I'm an easy target, and understandably so.
Right.
I mean, I've been, I think, probably the most famous addict and famous person, through the grace of God, in recovery for 7 years.
Anyway, it's very funny. You know, I for some reason I didn't think about this. That like Bongino is just going back to doing like YouTube reels about Candace Owens. Like, because I mean, what else would he do? I don't know why I'm like, you would think that you would, like, usually when you're a politician and then you stop being a politician of some sort, you get something more than that. You know what I mean? Maybe everyone's moving to new media anyways. So it's like, well, bro, he's so washed. He's so fucking washed. These all have like, 10,000, 50,000, 40,000 views.
We'll never see a better example of the op, what's called horseshoe theory. You'll see the fringe elements of the river to the sea terrorist left and this new wing of the fake right. This is the promo for the Candace Owens Hunter Biden interview. I want you to listen how Hunter Biden, one of the biggest scumbags
Hunter Biden, one of the yeah, anyway, that's
the
awesome.
history of Vice President
River to the sea terrorist leftist Hunter Biden
children has figured out that he can try to co-opt people on the right by using
Is Bongino white? That's a great question, chatter.
the Jews. Listen, it's so obvious. If you're falling for this, I am really so.
Is this I feel like I haven't watched enough Bongino content to like know if that's like a change. I guess he's like, yeah, no, he's Italian. Yeah. I guess that's like a. I guess, of course, he's like diehard for the administration because he was in it.
Sorry, you have been suckered.
Isn't that so insane, though? That like Dan Bongino is like the respectable conservative now? Like, do we. Like, Dan Bongino's. Yeah. Is he though? I mean, if there is a respectable conservative,
by the Biden family,
because Ben Shapiro's washed, it's over. Didn't he? He fired like a bunch of people. God, sorry, I'm sick.
Here's horseshoe theory in 1 minute. Check this out.
The DC elite of the left.
If I had his power, I wouldn't be a podcaster. That's the thing. Is like surely there's something more for you after working for the FBI, after being like a senior member. Of like surely going back to making Instagram reels where like your job is just sitting down and being like, Candace Owens said something so fucked up about Israel. Here's the clip. And then that gets like 30,000 views. Like surely there's something more for you in life after you're like, what? It's co-deputy director of the FBI. Surely, like, do you know what I mean? Like, didn't go to consulting or lobbying. Yeah, exactly. Like, my understanding for those sort of people is that after you're done there, you just get like a fake job that pays you $1 million an hour, and you're like a consultant. I guess he was presumably kicked from the consulting class. Yeah. I guess that's probably the answer. Is that the specific, like, Trump kind of upstart, like, podcaster fascists are not really... Like, they do all of the neocon shit. But they don't get the perks of being a neocon. That's it's a great parody of that one movie about why it's okay to be quirky or whatever. Sorry, that's not funny. The perks of being a neocon. That's like world's least funny SNL sketch. Sorry. Why is he so wet? Before I start this video. Sorry, I thought this was a Dan Bongino adjacent figure. I'm now seeing that that's not the case. Which is the explanation of why he's so wet. It is perfect though, because I did think this was like a chat adjacent music video that someone would sincerely just be that wet while recording their music video. Anyway, oh, this is a good clip.
The idea that you feel unsafe in the United States of America because you disagree with the current administration.
Oh, he's doing like Charlie Kirk Israel assassination stuff
On a issue that
I think this is like a continuation of a weird phenomenon that happened where like right-wing conspiracy theorists felt that they were legitimized from the fact that there were like a shit ton of conspiracy theorists in government. And then like those conspiracy theorists say like, oh, those conspiracy theorists like in relation to like Israel, for instance, push
70% of them,
particularly like right-wing anti-Semitic conspiracy theories related to Israel. And that's treated as an affirmation of like, oh, it's someone on the inside is also saying that it's like the Jews, capital J, capital T.
Agree with you on.
If he is implying that like Charlie Kirk may have been killed by Israel, it's kind of a continuation of that. It's also, I mean, that is probably if I was trying to run cover for my dad having a complete and utter explicit support of Israeli genocide,
we need to stop.
I would also be like, hey, listen, his hands are tied.
The wholesale murder of a population in Gaza.
That it is interesting that he is distancing himself more from Biden than Kamala did.
70% of Americans agree with you on. We need to stop the wholesale murder of a population in Gaza. Whatever you think about my father's policy as it relates, I always say to people, you know one thing he didn't do? He didn't greenlight to turn Gaza into a Trump golf course, with the maitre d' being Jared Kushner with $4 billion in Saudi money.
It's despicable.
Despicable.
Yeah. Despicable, tasteless, indefensible. And
it's not a joke, though, is my point.
It wasn't a joke,
It's
and that is the deal.
And that's what they're doing. Literally doing. And by the way, they're doing it out in the open. I mean, it's not as if they're hiding it in any way. And you had a problem, not you. Well, you too. But they had a problem with me as being this emblem of corruption. These guys, okay, Don Jr. got the single largest loan guarantee from the Department of Defense ever handed out of over $600 million for an energy company, a fusion energy company, of which he has zero experience in. Jared Kushner, who's never run a private equity fund, has now a $4 billion private equity fund with 80% of the money coming from the Middle East.
That is the difference between conservative and liberal genocide now. Is the conservative one is just very gauche. You do the genocide, then you build a Trump Tower, a gold encrusted, Trump Tower.
What she continues to raise as he is the ambassador at large on behalf of the Trump administration, not as a political appointee, but simply as a son-in-law of the president, to come to a peace deal of a war in Iran that they started that has cost the economy.
Did we see the Draymond tweet talking about crushing little kids? No. Did you know that Draymond Green went to Israel and like had like a photo off with the IDF? I don't know if this is related. Yeah. Which, like, are we surprised? I think Draymond Green might be like the most IDF officer player. I understand that people have been. I understand it's not good to like. Did Nom Hamburger died? I did see that Nom Hamburger died. Yes, I was made aware of the fact that Hezbollah killed Nom Hamburger. Oh. You know what meme that I really enjoyed that I haven't been able to talk about because I haven't streamed since. Well, I haven't streamed in a while. Is the thing where people would quote tweet, like many Marxists reject the entire field of political science, and then it's just like a Ivan Drago like chat edit. This is great. I made one, but I didn't want to make one related directly to it. Kept Nice, thank you for the tier 3. Thanks so much. Kept Nice, thank you for the tier 3. I didn't want to just do. I did a Song of Ice and Fire related one. I went back to an old tweet about someone speaking negatively about Stannis Baratheon. Do whatever the hot redhead witch tells you. And for some reason, my Instagram and TikTok reels are filled with like Stannis, like Sigma male edits. Am I Stannis truther? Yes, absolutely. That's my goat. I haven't been on like scrolling, and I've been not scrolling for the last like couple weeks for the most part. So I don't have any like TikTok slop to show you all. Yeah, don't scroll. Scrolling is bad for you. And it's interesting. It's like you don't end up actually enjoying your time. I feel like I had like. Yeah, no, I haven't. I can show you the Sigma male edits though, because they're great. Before I go on that specific tangent, where's the? Because they do scratch an itch in my brain. Stannis Baratheon stan on TikTok. This too, by the way, it's so interesting because I feel like I was looking at this sort of like editing style way too intimately for the past like I think 5 years at this point. It's Black Sun Stannis, yeah. Like this was these. I have a shit ton of like old, like 4chan. They put them on WorkSafe gives because it was the only forum. It was only like not safe for work. I can't remember what it's called on 4chan forum where you can like upload HD GIFs that it wasn't just like a porn forum or board, not forum, whatever. that like this began as a weird bit from like people on, I think presumably Poll, that thought it would be funny to make weird edits, like schizo edits, that would like convince people who are schizophrenic to like do mass shootings basically. And it became, there's like 5 or 6 different like really big memes. Agartha is the most recent one that came out of that weird internet subculture. I know there's a Know Your Meme page on this. I'm fairly certain it's like generally wrong about the origin of it. Origin work in progress. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is just all removed. Yeah. That's where Hyperborea came from. Yes. And the Hyperborea stuff came from the New Order as well. My favorite of which was the Joe Biden Hyperborea, which is probably mostly gone. Yeah, no, these are all wiped. They're probably on Twitter still. Hyperborea calls. This is not it's not a surprise that they're all completely wiped. Here we go. Like the song in this is like the song when the weird Hearts of Iron the New Order faction unifies Russia, who are like weird Slavic pagan Nazis. It plays this song, and then the country is called Hyperborea. Yes, I have a really old, like, from my like solo philosophy podcast about Hyperborea stuff from like, that was probably 2021. I have to show this every time because it's so... I'll cut it. And you know, it's the black sun in the background. And yeah, it's very strange. It's another of many instances where like a bunch of very strange... Oh, the biggest one that was the earliest biggest one was it was 2019. Yeah. Oh no, it was 2020. Yeah, no. Okay, it must have been 2020. If anyone remembers this, like the... Remember this video where it'll be like, yeah, like... Trying to think of, yeah. Fallout lore versus Elder Scrolls lore. And the Fallout lore is like, and then the Elder Scrolls was... Like this was I think the first meme out of that weird subculture, and now that's just like an editing style that has become like so oddly ubiquitous to the point now that like my Instagram feed is filled with like a bunch of A Song of Ice and Fire like Fashwave edits. Fashwave is like I feel like the broader... But if you ever see an edit where there's a thing that is spinning behind a person, that is taken from, like, there's a really old one I saw, it was a Ted Kaczynski one, and it was like, go outside, and he's got a gun. I think the N-word at the bottom, because it's just, and then it's got a Sonnenrand, the, like... Is Fashwave just the music? Probably. And then it's the hardstyle soundtrack, which... That's the thing about these editors are like very savvy, where they find a specific like music style like this, where it's these like hardstyle edits that are like very catchy. They activate something in your brain, but are like, I wouldn't say obscure, but like, I feel like this type of hardstyle is relatively obscure in terms of the grand scheme of things. I don't know. But they pick kind of more obscure like remixes and edits to things. And that's a part of the appeal is that people like the songs, and that's the main way that they absorb those songs. So they continue to scroll on. I don't know, and it one of the reasons I followed that really early is it does scratch a weird itch in my brain. Like they created a weird an editing style that is very like appealing to, or is able to catch people's attention in an attention economy that's very, where that is very difficult, where there's just a lot of high intensity. There's a lot of content. Anyway, what was I talking about? I can't remember. What other, nothing else interesting from my scrolling experiences. I haven't been scrolling that much. I like this post. There's like, I have nothing to say about this. How the music at the club sounds like after that one evil tequila shot makes you paranoid instead of gay. And then I said, this is so wise. And then he responded, I haven't been on Twitter in years, but I got crazy whiplash from seeing your profile picture. Which is great. Anyway, I think that's kind of it. I've been getting very like micro-targeted Instagram reels where it's like what NBA player would be what Magic, part of the Magic Gathering like color pie. Which feels like content that shouldn't exist. But I guess the crossover there makes sense. That's about it. Sometimes I feel like beyond all of the other reasons why people think the algorithm is bad. So tell me, I'm not an OKC fan. No, absolutely not. One of which is that feels too micro-targeted to me. I don't like it. And I don't have a philosophical explanation for this. But you used to actually have to go and find, to see things that you like, you had to go and find stuff, and it exposed you to things that you didn't already enjoy. Deadbeat Monty, thank you. When you have everything served to you, you're just used to things being served to you. This is especially the case with music, and I'm particularly guilty of this. Although not as much recently. I found going to like music festivals and doing live music, and especially like seeing live musicians that I'm not like super familiar with has like really helped with this. But with listening like on like Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, it's just like the algo serves you stuff that's kind of similar to what you're already listening to, and you're like, that's fine. And I feel like it ruins it really takes away from like it diminishes the breadth of your music taste. I did new piercing, it was like a month ago. I guess I haven't streamed that much, but yes, I'm going to, they're two I'm gonna get them into nose rings, lip rings when I can. You gotta like wait a couple months for some reason. But it's too passive. Like having your taste delivered in such a passive way. Like there is a skill to finding things that you like, and particularly finding like communities of people you like. That has been kind of lost, or has been increasingly being lost, where like the way that musicians do really well, you saw this with the geese discourse, right? The way that musicians do well is like by having a hit song on TikTok. Which I didn't realize, some of the discourse I saw on my timeline makes sense now. I didn't realize that the guitarist for Geese is a trans woman, who I'm fairly certain I know one of her exes, because of course. So small world. Although I'm sure I know any trans woman who dates women, I know like one of their exes, presumably. Emily Geese. I saw Geese, 6 Years of La Vega. I saw Geese at Coachella. They were good. I liked it. I said this before. I had very mixed feelings about that. The discourse about, for those who are unaware, I believe that they use one of those like guerrilla marketing firms that like they don't admit to using bots, and I don't know if there's any actual evidence they use bots, so it'd be weird to just be like, that's the type of thing I bet they have a bot. But like they drive fake engagement by like pretending to be fans on things. And I believe also like get influencers on like TikTok, etc., to use their sounds. To use like because that's really important. There's a big discussion about whether they're an industry plant and like whether it's like, oh, the buzz they're getting, it's inorganic. I do think like there is an extent to which like at a certain point like nothing's organic. Which is like cynic, like half of me wants to say, so like how can you be mad at someone who's finding some sort of success in a way that's inorganic, because that's how you find success. And the other half of me wants to say, well, it's all kind of pointless now, isn't it? Yeah, the idea that there is like a clean, honest pathway to doing well as a musician, to getting like a lot of that sort of mainstream prominence, is probably just a lie at this point for the most part. Because like what does doing well, yeah, I don't know, like even if you are not the person who hires a firm, yeah, I don't know, I think the pathway people imagine for artists to do this well, one, like maybe doesn't really exist in a way that people think it does. That when you're at that level of prominence, it's because, you know, the music still, it doesn't have to be good. There's some really fucking, you know what song I fucking hate so much is Ordinary. Do you know that song? It's like, do you know the song I'm talking about? Chat? Alex Warren. It's the worst song. That is like the worst fucking song I've ever seen in my life, and from literally every single dimension. Every dimension you can. I'll play a second of it. That was way too loud. Sorry. It is Imagine Dragons. It's reheated Imagine Dragons nachos. Sorry, that's too quiet. And it, like, it is like what is his fucking name? Alex Warren is like the Nietzschean Last Man. We Are Charlie Kirk ass track. What is so particularly Last Man about it as well is that the lyrics of the song are like celebrating like averageness, making you feel good about being a person who consumes the sort of slop that it is. Like that is like culture industry mind control. It's so Mormon music, absolutely. That's why it does so well, is because that's what people want. That's the people want. They're piggies. They love their slop. I am a figgy. Yeah, I've been thinking about, I went to a Michelin star restaurant in Vancouver for my birthday, which was very expensive, but it was a omakase sushi place. And it was incredible. I mean, it was very expensive, obviously. but it was very worth it for me. And I feel like I had a moment during it where I had this very specific Michelin Man approved. It's so funny that it's the same Michelin, by the way. Something white women in sushi. How much was it? Don't worry about it. I think it was like 300 Canadian. Hey, college. I think it was like 300 Canadian, which, you know, I can afford that. I love it when people are doing that discourse about like, it's like $20, 20 US dollars exactly. It was so fucking good. It was the one in Yaletown because there's a couple of them. I would recommend it if you're looking to go to have sushi. Very, very expensive omakase sushi. I feel like I had a moment when I was eating it where I was like, wow, this is like, it's these moments in my life here that make it worth living. This is such a wonderful experience. Is the feeling right here is I need to chase this sort of feeling. Whatever activity that I am engaged within, if it's a hobby, if it's something I'm doing in my free time, it should be in some way towards something like this. The fatty tuna belly, Sasha, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. The bluefin tuna. I don't even mean just like I should spend way more fucking money on. It's really the real answer is is that I'm not using DoorDash anymore. And that like just cooking for myself only, and then every once in a while, because DoorDash is fucking expensive. Once in a while using that for like a really good meal. Because Vancouver cuisine is really good. There's a lot of really nice restaurants in Vancouver. But I feel like the takeaway wasn't just I need to spend more money. The takeaway is like practices I engage within, whether it's like a hobby, like should generally be towards something like that. Like, is that, you know, what else is life for except for living it? And I feel like I've been thinking about that in relation to music as well. The takeaway is expensive, yeah. And it's made me have so much more contempt for that sort of pop slop. I don't know, it feels like it's so fundamentally wrong. It feels like that's not what music should be for. This is to say I am getting snobbier. If you were annoyed at how snobby I am already, it's only gonna get worse. So I'm listening to more of the Strokes again. Because I saw them at Coachella. Am I moving to Brooklyn? I mean, I listening to the Strokes is also I've been moving to Brooklyn statement. Did I tell you guys when I saw them, there was a guy behind, like, usually the crowds at those festivals really suck. There's a guy behind me who was like, had seen the, like, a New York guy who had like seen the Strokes 6 times. He knew all the lyrics. And it made the experience so much better. Seeing someone enjoy something makes it so much better. It's such a weird experience. I feel like I see this sometimes with music, where if I see someone, either someone I know, or even just a video sometimes of someone enjoying a song, it makes the song better. Where's I going with this? I don't know if I've been really enjoying the Strokes is particularly snobby. Drowning Poptimism in the sink. It's so, like, is anyone actually a Poptimist? Like, to me, in my mind, the only Poptimists remaining are those people who, like, the Star Wars fans who, like, really hate Andor and love, like The Mandalorian finally got good when when we had all the cast of characters came in season 3. Which is such a fascinating type of guy. I feel like those are the only remaining Poptimists. Everyone else, it's like, at best, it's like, look, things are obviously getting worse. culturally. But there's still some stuff that you can get a hold on. You can get past episode 1 of season. I don't even know. I think as soon as they did the like Deus Ex Machina with like Luke coming out and saving everyone, I just like turned it off. I was like, yeah, because there's a movie coming out. Someone chat mentioned. I can't imagine how slop that's gonna be. Is it already out? Yeah, Uncanny Luke. The Mandalorian and Grogu. I forgot that Pedro Pascal is Mando. That's so funny. It's bombing right now. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I love to see it. Worst Star Wars opening week. Because who the fuck wants more Mandalorian except for like the piggies? And it's directed by Jon Favreau. That's awesome. I love that he directed it and then it's bombing. The idea that Jon Favreau has the least successful commercially Star Wars movie. That's the thing. It's so fascinating to me. I wonder how you can account for this. The one like good Star Wars product released in like at least the last 5 years, maybe the last like decade. Like Andor. Where was I going with this? Why don't they just do more of that? It's interesting that it's a much higher quality of writing than the rest of the slop. I think the answer might actually be that like those sort of producers have like forgotten how to make things that actually that resemble good writing. You just want quality slop. It's true. It is genuinely quality slop. Can it sell toys, though? That's a good point. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of modern Star Wars fans want the slop. It's what they're used to. It makes them feel good. Which is, I think, generally the dynamic that makes... People need, like... This is one reason why I like Adorno's explanation of the culture industry. And is that, like... The dynamic isn't just, oh, these evil corporations are depriving everyone of good stories and forcing these, like, terrible... Is that, like, people also want the slop. It's that you're really tired. You work all day and you're really you're overworked. You're tired. And you come home and you want, like, the content equivalent of fast food. It's just, it feels... The reason why that stuff does well is the same reason why, like, there's an American obesity epidemic. When you look at the obesity epidemic in America, you don't think about, like, it would be silly to just say, like, oh, well, humans crave sugar naturally. So in an environment where they want more sugar, it's like, well, that would mean that would imply that, like, the richer you got, the more, the fatter you would be, which is not how that works. That's broadly a structural problem. It's that a lot of Americans are overworked and they don't have access to, like, good, cheap, either, you know, restaurants, even, like, ingredients. And the thing they have to settle for is just, like, a Big Mac in between their shifts. Like, that's what happens to art and culture as well. But, like, I guess the analogy keeps working. Is, like, people like Big Macs, and they become accustomed to Big Macs because they taste good. People are actively asking for the slop. They can become accustomed to it. It's the thing that it's the entertainment they have in between their shift. And they want more of it. Yeah. But that only happens to an extent, though, which is interesting. That is only true to an extent. I think maybe the slop is getting even sloppier. I wonder if it is like a lot of the bigger producers. it's not that the gravy train is over, it's that they're getting increasingly lazy. Where it's like, go fuck yourself. With The Boys season 4 and 5 were slop. Pakistani Lover Boy, thank you. Yeah, because I remember the first season of that being like, not like an amazing, like, I don't know. For the thing that it was on, it was good enough. It was a good enough cultural criticism that people were at least pointing out the hypocrisy of it being on Amazon. Because like if you have a cultural criticism, if you have a TV show, let's say, and there's a cultural criticism within it, and no one is like, and you know, it's big enough that it's on one of these large platforms, and no one is pointing out that there's a hypocrisy about you saying the thing on the platform, that it's probably not very good. It's probably not worth, like, fast food chains are not doing well. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. I guess that makes sense. So there's an extension. I wonder how that relates. I'm trying to formulate, like, what does it mean that it seems like the slop people are being pushed, like they're increasingly unhappy with. Because obviously, like, there's a nostalgia culture. I guess that is a problem for like Hollywood producers. Is they're not making good, like, the Marvel gravy train is over, right? Isn't it? Like, people, like, don't fucking care about Marvel anymore. Like, I remember, like, it was Infinity War, right? I've honestly never seen, I don't think I've ever seen one of those movies, and I refuse to. But people are fucking tired of it. Like, they want, broadly speaking, they want something new, and they're not getting anything new. Isn't the economy as a whole not doing well? That's probably why. That probably explains a lot of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange... It's interesting how few, like, new properties there are. And how well people respond to, like, halfway decent writing. With, like, you know, how successful Andor was, for instance. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how much of it is, like, Hollywood producers have, like, lost the ability to make slop like they used to. And they've just been coasting for so long. Because the bar is getting so much lower. I guess there is a reason why they're not making more of Andor, though. Because someone pointed out, can you sell toys?
Because I feel that people are much more willing to go to a movie they think is going to be mediocre than they are willing to go to a movie that they think is going to be good. It's wrong to believe that people want to go to good movies. They're very suspicious of good movies. They're very willing to go to midstream movies. And I got a call once at the Sun-Times, more than 20 years ago, from a reader who said, we're going to the movies tonight, and in the Wilmette Theater near our home, they're playing Cries and Whispers by Ingmar Bergman. Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about that movie? And I said, well, I think it's the best movie of the year. And the reader said, oh, that doesn't sound like anything we'd like to see. And that is so true.
I know that does happen. I know that's happening. People say Sense and Sensibility, just sounds too weird for me.
You say, Breaking the Waves is the strongest emotional experience I've had at the movies in 6 months, with a brilliant performance by Emily Watson. And they'll say, oh, good. What do you think about Jerry Maguire? In other words, they want a little less. They're not really up for, you know?
But I mean...
I don't feel like going to the French restaurant tonight. I just feel like burgers. Let me tell you a parable.
And then he uses the... Uses the. It's like the analogy I made. Wow. Comes off as elitism. I mean, it is. Sometimes that's fine. Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you can feel a little elitist as a treat. There's something I was thinking about. Like, someone was accusing me of great man theory when I talked about how, like, American foreign policy is different under Trump. And that if a different, like, even Republican had been in office, it's easy to conceive of, or even Democrat, it's easy to conceive of, like, how like Trump's particular form of, you know, war hawkery creates a drastically different result because he's an idiot, right? And someone was like, well, that's great man theory, right? You're implying that the person there is there. And it's like, I mean, sometimes you have a little bit of great man theory. Like, yeah, sometimes one person making one decision does drastically change world history. You know, that's fine. Who's that guy's fucking name? Stanislav Petrov, was that his name? Like, if Stanislav Petrov, the guy, the man who saved the world or whatever. Wait, is it? There's two men who saved the world. I think this is the guy I'm thinking of. Stanis Baratheon. Preventing nuclear war. If he had just said, no, I am thinking of Stanislav Petrov. Someone made nothing, that there was a system error. Nuclear early warning system when the system reported that a missile had been launched from the United States. He disobeyed orders against Soviet protocol. If he had decided not to do that, the world might not exist anymore. That's not great man theory. That's just like basic causation, right? Or if it is great man theory, then you have a little bit of great man theory. That's okay. I guess that was the point I was making. Not to contradict my point immediately. The second I got distracted. There are multiple of these people. He's just the most famous. Well, I mean, you know, if that's 10 people who make a certain decision, and those 10 people making a different decision ends in a nuclear exchange between Soviet Union and the United States, like, those are just 10 very important people. Sometimes there's a bit of elitism is fine. Sorry, someone sent.
I saw a really funny stat where it was like no country over this BMI has ever had civil war, and they're like, we're safe. Like, Americans too.
We have to stop Ozempic right now.
We gotta get rid of it. GLP-1s. The powers that be invented GLP-1s to make us not fat so we could have a civil war.
CIA invented GLP-1s to create civil war. You heard it here first.
We did
Stop it.
We figured
Put
it out.
down the needle.
You know what's so I literally believe that. Because we didn't have a cure for being fat for so long, and it's like, and they're like,
soon as
all
the
right,
Facebook bots
all right,
came.
we gotta get this going. They're like, fuck, they hate each other, but they're too fat to leave the house. All right, I got.
It's funny. Yeah. It's interesting. The discourse on Ozempic is always fascinating to me. Because it seems like it's hard to land on a satisfying position in relation to Ozempic. Because there's a lot of reason. There are good reasons to like it, and there are bad reasons to like it. There are good reasons to like it, and there are good reasons to not like it. But there are like 100 million reasons, 100 million bad reasons to like it, and 100 million bad reasons to not like it. There you go. I finished the sentence. I don't know why that sentence was so hard for me. Like, most of the reasons why people like or dislike Ozempic are stupid. And yet, subsequently, having a nuanced view of the situation is that, like, well, it's kind of a miracle drug and it's amazing, but then also the cultural effect of it. You can see the negative cultural effect of it, which is, like, quite unfortunate. But then also, it's kind of a miracle drug. Like, it's crazy. It's the drug that, like, was promised on 80s infomercials. The stream thing that displays the floating math equations, yeah. Like, people are still holding on to, like, there's a reason why, like, people are still holding on to. Here's a great example of a bad reason to hate it. Is, like, the people who are holding on to the idea that, like, oh, it's actually going to kill you or whatever. Look at the 1 in 1,000, you know, side effect, which is, like, what happens with, like, most drugs, especially who have that. But the people who are like, well, it's unfair because you don't, like, you need to have to work for your health or whatever, and people are, like, cheating, which feels like a very common position. I'm sure the guy who's 5'10", a girl who's 5'10" on Bumble, and I'm 5'8.5", and I put 5'10" on my profile. Should I just tell her straight out? That's crazy. That's so funny. The answer is that you shouldn't be in this position in the first place. The answer is you just hope she doesn't notice. Genuinely. And then when she's like, I'm taller than you, and you're like, oh, you must be like 5'11". And then she's like, no, I'm 5'10", and you're like, are you sure you're not 5? I thought I was 5'10". Are you sure you're not 5'11"? And then if she's like, no, I'm 5'10", you'd be like, oh, I guess I'm not 5'10". And then you hope she doesn't mind. That is kind of my sincere answer. The first is you don't get yourself in that position. Yeah, step 1, gaslight. Step 2. Yeah, or you just do the Costanza thing and you just wear Timbs. Wear Timbs to the date. And then do the clavicular thing. You wear Timbs to the date, and there are, like, parts of your apartment that are slightly elevated that, like, you stand on and you, like, move too quickly if you bring her back to your place. Yes, don't mention it. I hope she likes you enough to not notice. Because I will guarantee, if she's not, like, I mean, honestly, it is a red flag. It's kind of, but hope that you endear yourself to her early enough that it's like that she, like, doesn't notice or doesn't care, and that she's a person that wouldn't care. I feel like I've dated men who are shorter than me. I don't care. Being 5'10", 5'9.5". But anyway, Seinfeld ass situation to get yourself in. I should do Chad Vice. I should do a dating segment. That'd be great. You said you were 5'9" on Twitter to me, so who's lying about the height now? It makes you think. I'm 5'9" on a good day and 5'10" on a bad day. I'm actually not sure, because my sister is, like, exactly as tall as I am. like neither of us are taller than the other person. Like it's not a situation where it's like, well, if you have to choose. And she says 5'9.5", so I'm going with that. Height shrinking dynasty is real. Yeah, I mean I have a really long back as well. Most of my height is my back. Or I mean, well, not literally, but like in the way that I am taller than most people is that I have a longer back than them. A lot of the times I'll like my girlfriend is she like 5'7", and we go like hip to hip and we have like the same hip height. And I was definitely 5'10" before. Important news. Well, how am I gonna get married if all the guys is turning gay? I love what Vicky tweets. I think she might have. I feel like she lost it recently. Like it felt like she was hiring someone to make her tweets for her. My favorite for Vicky tweet may be kill the thought right when it comes. I'm battling. What shall I render is another banger. Is another all-timer. What was Wovicki's thing? She wasn't the Catch Me Outside girl, right? No, that's Bad Bar Baby or Bad Baby. Yeah. What did she actually like? What did she? Because they're like, right? She's not the Catch Me Outside girl. She soon started regularly using the N-word. I see. Okay. I see with this situation. I just reading the Wikipedia page. Tennessee, thank you. Yes, falsely claiming that she was black. I see. I see. I feel like that must exist in my brain somewhere, that is a thing that happened. I think the thing was that I thought that Wovicki was Bad Baby, because they're like the same person, kind of. Combine them in my brain to save on storage space. Yeah. Yeah. Basically. This is a great tweet. Miami be feeling like Sodden and Gonora. Gonora. That's so true. I guess that's what like Wovicki and Clavicular have in common is just loving to say, like, they love saying the N-word. That was a very strange crossover, because they seemed like it was one of the only instances with Clavicular where like he seemed to genuinely like someone. And it's especially strange because it's like a woman. Clavicular is interesting though, because like, as far as I understand, like the ratio of like clout versus how much he's talked about is way off. And a lot of that at some point was driven by like older millennial journalists who were like, I'm with it. I understand this clavicular thing. Another part of it is also that just like no one wants to like watch a clavicular produced video. Adam Friedland. No. Nobody wants to watch like a clavicular produced video. People want to watch a video produced about clavicular. Fuentes' popularity is overblown. That's probably true. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he is just fundamentally a lol cow. Clavicular is a tragic figure because he got lol cowed by the looks maxing forum when he was like 17, and then somehow found a way to like make that his job after like the looks maxing ideology like ruined his life, like got him kicked out of university, and then that's just the rest of his life. Is like the fact that he was chasing clout from like looks maxing forum account as a teenager. It's a particularly tragic, like clavicular is interesting. I'm sure I've said this before, but like he's possibly the only one of those like because he must make a shit ton of money, like wealthy, like, you know, like kick adjacent the sort of streamers who I can't say I've seen anyone openly be envious of. You know, like nobody wants to be clavicular. No one's like, oh, you have such an easy job. Like everyone agrees that he lives a terrible life. He scams people with his TikTok score. How do you scam someone with a TikTok? What is a TikTok store? Like, how do you... Oh, you can sell merchandise through TikTok? I didn't know... I feel like a boomer. I didn't know that they did drop shipping. I didn't know that. That's bizarre. That's fucking bizarre. It's not a thing in Canada. That's why. There you go. Yeah, see, I don't see it on the screen. That must be why. Yeah, I've never seen that on TikTok. However horrifying amount of hours I've spent on TikTok, I've never seen it. That's horrifying, but it's very smart. Bizarre. But yeah, he's insanely rich. And like he's rich at like 20, and like nobody. He's the only person, honestly, I think I've seen who like doesn't work very hard, is incredibly wealthy, and is like hot in their early 20s that I've never seen who I've never seen anyone be envious of. Who've never seen like there's not a single person I've seen on the internet articulate the concept of like, wow, I wish I was clavicular. Which is so interesting. Anyway, what else is happening on the internet recently? Oh, Hassan is streaming today. When is Hassan not streaming, really? Question for the chat. The Hassan and Ashley St. Clair. Can you guys explain what's going on with the Ashley St. Clair stuff? Because to me, that's so blatant.
What is this?
That's such a blatant it's cool that she is I saw a thing that she revealed that Libs of TikTok hired a stylist which is so fucking funny. But to me, it seems like that, like, as soon as the right pushes you away, like being like, oh, I'm a leftist now is like so blatant that it's like, how do you actually pull that off? But then maybe the answer is that like no one fucking cares. Anyways. Because like who believes anything now anyways, so who fucking cares?
This is a hoodie.
You got me a hoodie?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put this down here. Oh God, what's gonna be in this hoodie? This is gonna be...
I'm not the stepfather. I'm the father that stepped up.
You ready? Are you ready, chat?
Oh God. Oh, no. I'm not gonna see it first. Chat's gonna see it before I do.
Yeah, of course.
I've been sent by Benjamin Netanyahu to get his Twitter account.
But yeah, I don't know. It seems I think it's interesting that it's hard to argue she's left grip because no one's beating Musk money, but also like nothing is worse than being like nothing is worse than being in Elon world and being one of his like, you know, being like the mother of his children or whatever. Also, it really doesn't seem like she got that much. I do think one interesting thing, this happened when there was like that really old, like, was it like Vosh sort of discourse about like rehabilitating Nazis, and it's like, well, the whole point of debate is to get these Nazis on our side, because it's like there's so many chuds in the world that if you want to do revolution, you're gonna have to convert some chuds on the way, and that like the nuance of the conversation was lost. There was an important nuance of that conversation, which is like there's a difference between allowing someone to convert and having them be an intellectual thought leader, like having them have political influence, which is something you should be much more suspicious of, especially someone who like was just like, I left the right and now I'm at this politically expedient moment. Because didn't she, like, the feud with Musk was that like Musk was like not responding to her. She was like, please respond to me, I need money for raising your child, and then he like wasn't, right? Like women are in that movement, women are treated really poorly, but particularly if you're like the 14th like mother of one of the, like if they're doing like basically the Silicon Tech Valley version of like Mormon, the only word that's coming to my mind is non-monogamy, which is technically true. Polygamy. Also correct. She mentioned that getting pregnant and everything changed. Yeah, so it's like she had a reason to leave. But yeah, there's a difference between like, oh yeah, like you can go to the march or whatever, and like, oh yeah, here is your big platform where like, welcome to the winning side, welcome to wokedom. Here's your really big platform to be a politics expert. Those are very different things. She turned on 40 million within a debate. There's no shot that she turned on $40 million. I don't think anyone treats her as more than something with interesting gossip, though. Yeah, probably. I hope so. Anyway. 40 million is insane. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. But it's fair. I guess it's fine. I guess everything's fine. Not everyone can have politics autism and start reading Marx when they're like 15. Oh, Massey lost the primary to the Trump-backed challenger, right? Seems kind of bad. I mean, it's not a surprise. Republicans are piggies. They're piggies. They want their slop. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how. Do you see Brian Johnson is curing endometriosis? That's like a disease that's like so horrifying. That's a real fucking male feminist right there. What's the story about him trying to cure endometriosis? Because I remember the post about his wife having like a top 1% vagina. Okay, this is referring to is it girlfriend, not wife? That's so much funnier. As her 1%. Yeah, no, it's so they tested very early. Doing her ultrasound. So he's trying to cure it now. He's like, I'm on the way. Well, I respect it. That's a real male. Can you really claim to be a male feminist if you're not trying to cure endometriosis because you found out your girlfriend might have it? That's the thing. It's so interesting. I feel like the first time I thought about the Brian Johnson guy or whatever, Miss Robin, that I'm not gonna allow that chat, but it got caught. And this is a thing that it's only you and I will know that chat. And I'm not going to accept it got caught in the auto mod. I will not accept that one. No one else will be seeing your chat. You do not pass go. You do not collect the $100. What was I going to say? I can't even remember. I can't even remember. Don't use by acknowledging it. No, I will. Fuck you. There's nothing you can do about it. You'll never know. So this is the real way of making content is that you don't make the content, but like you tease people. It's like David Lynch understood this. You don't tell people who killed Laura Palmer. The point is that they don't know. You have to edge them. And dear viewer, no, anyway. It's the box, exactly. It's the journey, not the destination. I'm rewatching season 2 of Twin Peaks with my girlfriend. And it's really funny how you can, when you look for it, especially see like there was already a drop. Season 2 is already just like worse. But you can see how significantly worse it gets when they drop. When Lynch leaves the show. Legendary refreshable. You know what the problem is? I mean, he's probably right. I mean, like, if you need Vosh to tell you to stop boy moding, that's kind of sad. But if you need Vosh to tell you to stop boy moding, then I'm happy that you heard it from the right place. That's the thing about, I feel like with Twin Peaks, you can't really guess the killer. Republic, thank you.
A brown bear?
That you can't really guess the killer. Like, when I watched it initially, I didn't try to, because I was like, I don't know. It didn't strike me. I feel like this is right. I feel like I had the right instinct here. It didn't strike me as a show that's going to, like, give you a way of understanding it before. It's not Sherlock Holmes. And because, like, I love Sherlock Holmes. I love the original. Like, one of the reasons why I loved it as a kid as well. But, like, one of the reasons why the BBC Sherlock is so bad is because, like, you can't actually figure out the mystery before it happens. Sherlock just has magic powers, and he's like, oh, the smudge on the doorknob meant that he came home drunk that night, and you could see from the veins in his eye, you know, it's just like nonsense. Deus Ex Machina. But like that sort of, it's called autism, yeah. He's just super, yeah. It's a superpower. That's the real message of BBC Sherlock. Is that I actually do think that is true. Is that the real message of BBC Sherlock is that autism is a superpower. It's a smart guy written by a dumb guy, yeah. The Mind Palace, where he's like going through, is so fucking awesome. But what was I gonna say? But like Twin Peaks isn't that. Like, it's the least that a thing can possibly be. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no whimsy there. Or there's not this particular type of whimsy that, like, Lynch is going for. Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? But yeah, like, you can see one of the interesting ones that I was thinking of is, like, Norma and what's that guy's name? James's uncle. Norma and Ed. How, like, in the middle of it, they finally get together. And, like, maybe that was a Lynch decision, but it didn't. I feel like it lines up in a way. It didn't feel like Lynch would ever have wanted that to happen. Dolores said. And I feel like it stops because I know I can't remember if it's during season 2 or if it's during season 3 that, like, they stop being together, because it's like the point, like, Lynch, there's no way, like, that's like the climax is that they finally get together, and, like, Lynch doesn't want to give you that, particularly not in the middle of the. Yeah, Sarek gets her memories back, right? I forgot about that. Like the it's between season 2 and season 3. Okay, chatters are telling me contradictory information. Can't imagine Twin Peaks without Leland's killer. No, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's just you shouldn't be able to know based on watching it. It's why I remember in season 3, like, they're not together anymore, and it's like, well, that's because that's like, okay, it is okay. It's when Lynch comes back, I guess. Because yeah, when they come back, Ed and Norma aren't together anymore, because it's like that's what their dynamic is. Is that like they probably should have gotten together, but because of because of this unfortunate circumstance, and because like Ed isn't a person that like is. How would you describe the new partner who insanely sucks, which is again a part of Norma's, feels like it's a part of Norma and Ed's dynamic, is that the audience is screaming that they should be together, but then Ed refuses to act on it, and he's like, well, I would feel bad. Yeah, it's eternal yearning, and when the yearning is when the marriage is consummated, so to speak. I don't know why I said it like that. I don't know why I referred to it like that. It ruins it. It's over. Their arcs are over. There's nothing more that's interesting to say about it. I find it so weird. David Lynch was a lesbian. Kind of. Honestly, like a little bit. It's kind of... I don't know why... There's a reason why lesbians love Dale Cooper. Because I feel like lesbians love Dale Cooper. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a male character that lesbians love. And it's always weird to me to see how many like diehard Twin Peaks fans like just fail to understand what makes Twin Peaks so good. Maybe not a lot of them, but like a surprisingly large amount of them do not get the point of like I mean, a part of that is like Twin Peaks season 2 especially is like less of Lynch's creation, so there's more to it than just Lynch's perspective. But I feel like, yeah, the dissecting the murder stuff, or trying to predict the murder, trying to get the coherent meaning to everything that's going on. Jimmy, thank you for the Prime. I saw this 3-hour video. I get the point. I watched that video, and I feel like that video is interesting because I think a lot of it is probably at least approximately true. But I would be very surprised if Lynch didn't watch that movie or watch that. I mean, it's basically a fucking movie. And have been like, oh, I didn't think of that. There's like a 3-hour long explaining Twin Peaks video that tries to get all the coherent meaning, particularly out of like Lynch's vision for Twin Peaks. So it pays a lot more attention to like season 3. The point is to edge the audience. Like if there isn't ambiguity, then it's doing something wrong. That is meant to reflect a particular a part of life that is necessarily ambiguous. How much lore nerds in their understanding of media has caused damage to society? It's like the people who are mad about, like in Andor, the origin story of the robot, like the indestructible robot. You can see that like the I can't remember whether it was the showrunner who wrote that one, but the Andor the showrunners and the writers, like I think they knew that there was already a pre-written like there's a comic strip about the origin story of the big robot, and they were like they maybe wanted to have it line up with the show, but then when they realized that there was a more interesting like way of writing that, or that fit into their story, they completely disregarded it because it's like, who gives a fuck? The point is about telling a good story. I think that was Andor's general viewpoint about Star Wars lore, extended lore, was like, we're gonna use the parts of this that make a good story. This is my favorite example. This is such a funny fucking tweet. I don't know. Is this a joke? Is this a joke tweet?
The fact that there are no guardrails in this area because the Death Star was designed by Geonosians that could just fly away in case of emergency is honestly such a great detail. And then this is the best tweet of all time. This is exactly how Christians studied the Old Testament for 2,000 years. So funny. So fucking funny. Yeah, it's like you know what pisses me off in the same way. That kind of basic theology, yes, I guess that's true. It's like the Sanderson I'm not doing a Biden moment as name, right? Like magic systems where there's like this it's a mechanical function and it's all it's advanced and there's like a rule book. It's like world building for the sake of world building and not for the sake of actually writing a good story. You know, it's a good magic system is A Song of Ice and Fire. That's a good magic system because we don't fucking know how it works. The point is that you don't know how it works. That's wrong. I admittedly I'm not that familiar with Sanderson, so I could be and also the point is that people read they project onto the magic system their own understandings, their own superstitions. So many crucial events that are just like it's a mystery. Exactly. That's something like I think people don't give George enough credit because sometimes his prose is like, yeah, it's not necessarily spectacular. Reading like going from reading A Song of Ice and Fire to reading like a classic, you can see like the difference in quality. Obviously, he's still, but like George understands especially that about writing is the ambiguity there and how you can use it as a storytelling device. George is also just like a very good character writer. For good and bad, he's a former TV writer, yeah, which plays into that. He's a great character writer. There seems to be some delineation between fire magic and ice magic. It seems to be clear that there are like certain different types of magic. One of them relates to like the drowned gods. Like Patchface is like supernatural, right? Like he is a zombie that has visions of the future and has been like, those visions are so overwhelming it's turned him mad. The projection that is made is that the idea that there is a god that can be appeased. That there's a guy, right? But it's anthropomorphization, right? Which you see happen in anthropology of the anthropomorphization I'm getting it right. There are certain words that like really fuck with me. Like economics and economy always fuck with me. Economical. That's if I can count, sure. Like when I'm pronouncing it, it always fucks with me. But the anthropomorphization of like components of nature, phenomena within nature that we don't understand. Because in a certain sense, that is all magic is in A Song of Ice and Fire. But it's phenomena that like we also don't understand. So you can't look at a group of people who are seeing a tornado and have no possible system to explain it in a way that like let's say science would causally, and then saying like, well, there must be a guy who's related to that. Because we understand how tornadoes work, or we But we don't understand why Patchface gets visions of the future, or why Melisandre does. But I think that's interesting. I think it's a much more interesting way of doing it, leaving it ambiguous. Who the fuck Tom Bombadil is? I still need to finish A Song of Ice and Fire. Or I've definitely finished Lord of the Rings. Because I really like The Hobbit is a baby's book for babies, but I still really enjoyed it. Did I say writing instead of reading? It's a pretty good book. If you want to make nerds mad, say you like Rings of Power. But I feel like I'm way too much of a snob to ever say that, even if I did enjoy it. Do you know Lord of the Rings? Well, I love Dune. I've read all of Dune. And I haven't read all of Lord of the Rings. That should show you. That should show you which one. Season 2 of Rings of Power wasn't terrible. I saw a good video essay about, actually related to this, about like how Tolkien understood that like a sense of wonder often involves not showing someone something. Like the comments that Gandalf makes when he comes back, when he's wrestling the Balrog, and he goes way under the earth and is encountering beasts and creatures that even he doesn't understand. And there's like a little sentence. It's a very iconic moment. And then Rings of Power is like, let's show some of those creatures. And it's like, well, the point, you ruined it. If you showed the creature, you ruined it. Yeah, I mean, Lovecraft is like, that's the classic cosmic horror. And there's like, cosmic horror is interesting because it's like a lot harder to translate to the screen. Because the point is that you can't see it. Oh, do they explain Tom Bombadil or whatever in Rings of Power? Because that's... No? Okay. One cosmic horror thing I did enjoy was In the Mouth of Madness. That's a great fucking... When I was writing Letterboxd reviews, I think one of my only joke reviews was In the Mouth of Madness. And my review was 5 stars, great movie, laughed my way through the whole thing. Which I think it's kind of funny. If you've seen the movie. I haven't read Sutter Kane though. I gotta get on it, because I think that does an okay job of capturing cosmic horror, but it does so by literally not showing. Yes, I feel like one of the strengths of, obviously, the strengths of written medium for telling stories is that you have to use your imagination. And to continue the thing we were talking about before, when people are used to slop, they're used to consuming things passively, passive consumption. Because it's also easier, right? If you're fucking tired, the active use of the faculty of the imagination is difficult. You don't have the energy for it, particularly if you don't do it regularly. It's a muscle. If you don't flex it, it gets weak. It atrophies. And people get used to passive consumption. And so they don't like when they are told to think about something, because it's like, well, give me the answer. Well, I watched Mando and Grogu. I don't want to fucking... The last thing I watched Star Wars related was Andor, and I was like, that's it. That's enough. That's good. That's all. No thanks. Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's a good note to end Star Wars on. It's also interesting. I did the thing of like, you watch season 3 episode 9 of Andor onward, and then you watch Rogue One, and then you watch episode 4. And it's weird. It's so strange because they set it up in a way that Rogue One is literally right before episode 1. But it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch episode 4 with all of the lore behind it that is being set up for it in mind, because it's so obvious. It's so obvious the many contrasts between the original intention of the film and how much has been elaborated around it. One of my favorite details, this is like a bake, is I think that they wanted Darth to be his name. I think in the first Star Wars movie, Vader is my father's name, call me Darth. I think that's what they were going for. Yes, and Leia pretending she doesn't know about the plans is awesome. That's just true? Okay, well, there you go. I guess I'm right. There you go. I mean, the incest is another, they were not intending that one. But once again, every day, exactly. I can guarantee that every day I will be right at least once. That is the Le Vegar guarantee. Secret of all ongoing media, no one has a long-term plan. My favorite example of that recently was who's the showrunner for Breaking Bad, talking about how at the end of the start of the last season, Walt buys a machine gun, and he's like, we had Vince Gilligan. He was like, we had no plans for that. We just had him buy the machine gun, and then we had no clue how to have, and then the payoff obviously is incredible. Solve for machine gun, yeah. Just brought in the Chekhov's machine gun for no reason. That's kind of baller. But yeah, it is so interesting how much of people's analysis of series is just this, basically. I've not watched Pluribus. I've heard it's good though. Was Vince Gilligan in Community?
Each player starts with 6 bullet tokens, 10 gold certificates, and a color-coded
Because I love Community so much. It's a show that is very near and dear to my heart.
token. There's 2 types of tokens?
I'm sure we'll figure it out.
That is Vince Gilligan.
He was like a real group of gunslingers. Everyone
That's
in
crazy.
town was mighty scared. What with all the gold and the outlaws?
That's so fucking funny. That's very funny. Yeah, wow, I didn't know that. I feel like the first time I watched Community, I was like 12. And it was interesting watching it back even just a couple years later, how many jokes I had missed as like a child. It's a great show. It's a great show. Say what you will about what's his fucking name? Say what you will about Dan Harmon. You know, he gave us Rick and Morty. He but he ran Community was a great. He's a fucking incredible TV writer. He knows how to write a TV show. He's doing AI shows. Is that true? Rick and Morty. Okay, yes. No, Rick and the first couple seasons are good. It's true. That's true. It was. What is he doing AI shows? What is Dan Harmon up to? Because like, there are many bad things you can say about Dan Harmon. By the end of season 1, Rick and Morty is committed to being mopey bullshit. That's probably true. It kind of like the whole show flanderized itself. Doesn't he have allegations? And I think so. I was remembering. I was like, there was a bad thing. But Community, no, it's Dan Schneider. Oh, it was a sexual harassment situation. Okay. That is fully admitted to. And then the lady forgave him. That's good. Well, George, thank you. Thank you for too. He had an NFT show. That's awesome. That's so funny. I mean, he's just an odd guy, but he's a great TV writer. Can I believe the stuff Dan Harmon's making these days? Oh no. This seems like the wrong link, but I do love Laura Palmer and Slater as a combination, so I will allow it. This is a great song. This is such a Laura Palmer song too, like spiritually. Anyway, sorry, unless there's a joke there I'm not getting, which is very possible. It's cool to see how well Slater's doing. I saw her at Coachella, and it feels like she's taken a very different direction recently. It feels more like... Do you like Smiling Friends? I haven't watched the recent seasons. When I first get into it, like, maybe 2018? It's 2019? When was... Let me find the first song I listened to. Or what was it called again? Because I remember it because I played it so much. It might have been mine. Yeah, like the 2019 single releases. I feel like she's changed quite a bit as an artist, and I like the direction. You clicked that link and it brought you to an AI video of, is this just, it's like a dead link and it's gonna send. Yeah, I think that link is broken and it's just like putting you on your Instagram Reels feed page. So this was an excuse to see, an attempt to see what's on my Instagram Reel page, because I was like, this is a very targeted video, like this video is really up my alley. I don't know, this you accidentally sent me this video. It's very up my alley. Send people a link to their own algo is very funny. I don't want to do that. I can't. I don't want to show you my algo again. Not since not since the last time, the incident. The last time I showed people my TikTok algorithm. This isn't too bad. This is a Norm Macdonald's
Old enough
one.
to remember back to simpler, more innocent times.
It's a classic Norm
when
joke.
the worst thing you'd hear about the news was hijacked jetliners flying into buildings.
Oh, now, Gilbert, you're going to get into trouble again.
Oh man, he's so funny. There's not even a punchline. I love Norm so much. Did you see this AI slop?
The stars above, the law within. You are merely an outlier.
The Foucault lie is getting so interesting. They're like adding more stuff to it. Foucault looks so badass here, you almost forget he raped children while knowing he was HIV positive.
You dreamed of the Overman.
It's like Foucault is like, I want to say like the first, certainly the first public intellectual, one of the first like public figures to die.
Existence precedes essence, and your essence is nothing. Being and nothingness, fatality.
Yeah, this is such terrible slop.
The Overman is a myth, Frederick. Man is an invention of recent date, merely a face drawn in the sand. Biopolitical dominance, fatality.
I love the ChatGPT edition of like the basic summary. ChatGPT, how would Foucault disagree with Nietzsche? That Helen Mutant guy is insane. Was that the guy who got like doxxed? And he had like pronouns in bio on his he had pronouns in bio on his like LinkedIn or something. Despite being like in it. I think that's beautiful. That's how you could, it's so funny all those people were celebrating Trump won. Because it's like now we can say the R word in public and it's like it's 2026 and you have he, him on your LinkedIn. Like did you win? Like Marx was next to me? Okay, I'll watch it.
Material conditions shape reality. History is the worker's triumph, not your solitary will. Historical inevitability, fatality. Marx wins.
Goes hard. Goes hard. That's true. Why is everyone fighting Nietzsche? It's just like regular philosophy. It's like if they made Epic Rap Battles of History into AI Slav. Yeah, it's beautiful. Anyway, It's been almost 4 hours. I think I'm gonna call it here. My tummy hurts. I'm sick. But I'm so kind. I thought I should gift you all with the stream, because I haven't streamed in a while. And the excuse of I'm sick and I have other shit to do, I have used too many times. Yearly live streams. I realized, I think, especially when I have like other shit to do and I'm busy, and I'm also like making good money doing other shit, like Twitch streaming is like a thing that I can always do, and that when I like I'll do it a lot, or a lot comparatively speaking, for like a couple months, and then I start feeling burnt out from it, and it makes the streams noticeably less good, because I don't really do React content. I mean, I guess I basically do React content still. I do less React content than I did before, and it's more just me talking. And so it's just hard to do. I don't understand how fucking radio people survive. Just like, they're just talking for 6 hours literally every day. So right now I've been a bit burnt out, obviously, as you can see from my schedule, my streaming schedule. I was doing gaming content. I was gonna do magic content today, but I do not have the energy, which I should have known. Do I have podcasts that isn't QA? No, but that's my main thing. It's QAA. But yes, I'll play some magic. I'm grinding to diamond now. I might just keep playing Is It Prowess, dude. I don't know. It's so easy. It's such an easy deck to play. It's so easy to pilot, and it wins really well. I've been learning Jeskai control, because I am like spiritually a control player. Like that is, I'm clearly spiritually I'm a blue player, and spiritually I like control. The like Jeskai tablet stuff. It's just so much harder. I don't understand the game very well, because I'm new. I've like started playing it like very recently. So yeah, I don't know. That's my last. I am an Is It Prowess play. Are you surprised, really? Are you really surprised? I should try Lessons, because I have the mana base for it. Like I have most of the rares, because you have like the land base or whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna raid Sasha. I'll see you all next week, probably. Yeah, I shouldn't have much to do. I think I'll be fine. Alright, goodbye.